Should be we got our first hand going out, so it looks like we're up and running. So we'll just sit back tonight and see what exciting things happen. It looks like we're going to have a fairly action-packed table. There's definitely some action players at the table. A couple of rocks sitting at the table. A couple, the rest are, well, the rest of them like to play the game. So, and depending on, looks like Billy's brought the mood setter there behind him. So we definitely could see fireworks tonight. So it looks like Frankie, Denny, and Dennis called. Flop comes ace 5-5. Frankie flops it to, oh wow, Frankie flops trips. With Denny flopping an ace, he can't go anywhere with his kicker. And unless he catches a miracle ace, I don't believe that he can win it. Nope, 10 on the river, and Frankie will take it down. So there a chip count for the night. Frankie has 1,600, Billy has 15, Robert has 1,500, Jody has 15, Pete bought in for 11, Keikoa bought in for 11. I'll get the rest of them when they pop back up. I'm in here, I guess tonight Charlie is off tonight, so you're stuck with me. Miss you, Charlie. So like I say, we'll have some folks come in periodically and tag team this with me, and then like I say, we'll see what happens. But like I say, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you're stuck with me tonight. Billy wakes up with Sir Fold 6-3. Don't know. Keikoa has 10 jack folds, 8-5 folds. Then he wakes up with pocket sixes, raises to 15. Everybody folds, so then he takes home. I guess this is the 5 on the button tonight. I didn't look, and I apologize for that. Well prepared. But all of our other players, we have several players. We have several players that are in Houston right now playing that big tournament. Want to wish them luck, good luck, and hope their cards run well. Anyway, I missed it. It looked like Dennis had 1,000. So Keikoa has Queen Jack. Joni has ace-10. She calls. Robert has ace-9 of hearts. He raises to 20. And Joni picks up her second pair. Not that it matters, but Robert doesn't know it, but they'll chop the pot if he makes the call. Yep, they're going to split this one, I think. Joni bets 50 at him. Yep, they're going to split it up. Here we go. Dennis has $9.95. Denny bought it for $7.50. Basil bought it for $700. That finishes out our chip count. Be on the lookout while we're waiting. Be on the lookout on the Kojak's website or their Facebook page. It'll all be posted there. But they're doing some really exciting things with the new tournament series coming out here in a couple months. The West Texas Poker Championship. But they're also going to have our weekly tournaments are changing up, and then they still have to finalize some stuff. So be looking for that in the next couple of weeks. It's pretty exciting. I got to see kind of a preview of it tonight, and it ought to be. It ought to be a lot of fun for everyone. Frankie flops top pair, or a pair of jacks. I said top pair, but he hit his pair. Pete wakes up with Queen Jack. Dennis calls with pocket eights. Frankie calls with 7-4 of spades. Billy raises with 10 deuce of spades to a quarter. Oh, Joni wakes up with pocket aces. Dennis is the only one that might call her. He did. He called the 50. I don't see any. Did Billy call? He sure did. He's trying to crack aces. Joni bets it looks like 155. And Joni will take it down. Frankie's going to raise to 20 with Queen Jack of clubs. Keikoa wakes up with pocket tens. 3 bets it to 70. So here comes the flop. Let's see. It's basically a coin toss, whoever hits. So Frankie picks up top pair. He checks it. Keikoa bets 85. I don't think Pete can call here, but he might surprise me. No, he's going to lay it down. Frankie will absolutely call. Which should slow Keikoa down unless a 10 pops off. Oh, Pete would have hit his king. That's always the case. You fold on the flop, and next card off, you hit the one you needed. A good bet here might make Frankie lay it down. Yep, Frankie lays it down. It's a good bet. That was a solid play by Keikoa. Denny wakes up with pocket eights. Looks like he raised it to 20. Yeah, or raised it to 25. Frankie suited. He's definitely calling. Pete has pocket sixes. Whew. Robert's got ace queen of diamonds. And he lays it down. Wow. That's a big laydown. Of course, Robert plays pretty tight. I've played with him a few times, and that's pretty tight right there. Oh, and Denny flops a set. And Denny moves all in for maybe because of the spades. Moved all in right there. Oh, okay, that was a misclick. Denny checks. Pete bets. Pete bets 200. Frankie's gonna lay it down. Pete's in pretty bad shape here. Yeah, he's in real bad shape here. Should go check, check. I don't know if Pete can fire at it again. Oh, that's a horrible card on the river. Ooh, horrible. It's going to look like they both completed their straight. It's going to be a good laydown if Pete lays this down. Pete thinks he's got the winner. I think he's just going to call. Yeah, he just calls. Yeah. Not sure Pete liked making that call right there. I know it may have been just a crying call, but ooh. Billy's bored. He raises it to 30. Joni calls with ace 10. Oh, the Basil. He's going to call with that, of course. Oh, Dennis had 8-9 of clubs. Basil has the winning flush draw. Basil calls the 100. Looking for Billy to catch a pair. I think Billy might push him off this pot. Now Billy bets 250. And Billy took it down. Like I say, he just put a little too much heat on Basil to make the call there. Billy shows pretty regular that aggression tends to pay more than just limping your way through. He can certainly be aggressive when he wants to be. And knows when. He picks the right spots. It's not just that he's a wild man. He's not at all. He's as solid a player as you ever want to get into a hand with. So, but he certainly can sense weakness in somebody else when he's at the table. Pete raised it with King Jack of Diamonds. Then he's going to call with King Queen of Clubs. Looks like we got 5 to the flop. Dennis flops open-ended. Frankie flops top pair. Oh, Johnny flops a set of 4s. Dennis calls with the open-ended. I don't know. Frankie might call the 30. He's already got 30 invested. Nope, he folded. And Joni completes. I'm sorry, Dennis completes. Dennis gets the check mark. Looks like Dennis bet 125 at her. Joni's going to have to call that. Find out the bad news.
Mr. Carter.
Hey, Mr. Michael just walked in.
Hello, Kojak's viewers. Thanks for tuning in. For those who are. Been a lot of action already?
It's been some good action so far.
Solid lineup we've got in here tonight.
Charlie would be hyperventilating already.
I'm sure our viewers are already missing Charlie. I'm sure he's checking out the stream to make sure everything's going well. So
we're about 10 minutes from it popping up on all the places.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're about 10 minutes out.
So right now, looks like stacks are. I just got a quick view at the live count, and everybody's for the most part pretty stable. A couple short stacks in the 500 range, but they're dangerous. They're still there's still a whop to any of those guys sitting with 1.5.
Yeah, and Pete took a crying call beat from a minute ago for I'd say about 35% of his stack.
Pete's a sticky player, which is not ever necessarily just a bad thing.
He represented that he had the straight off the flop off the turn, and then made the straight on the river, but Denny had already made a boat when the board paired on the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Denny bets 250 at him, and he's got to make a crying call.
Absolutely.
It always sucks when the river gives you the card you think you need.
And look at this, Joni limping pre-flop with the tens is gonna let Dennis get in there freely, and he's gonna flop ahead of her with just a.
Well,
top
the
pair.
hand before this, she just got stung with a set of fours.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she's done raising pocket pairs for the night. But
Yeah,
she might.
she got stung. Dennis hit her with he flops open ended and completes on the turn, and she had flopped a set of fours. And
Ooh.
yeah, that's it was kind of rough.
And it looks like she's gonna just I think it's going check. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's gonna see the bad news and the queen.
With-
he's got to flip over the two first.
with queen deuce. Yeah, she's got to be thinking this just isn't my night.
No.
I mean, because of the way the first couple of hands she's been involved in, she's had them crushed, and yeah.
Well,
And you can kind of see the stacks. I think the biggest run so far has been Denny has made the biggest come up, but that was that full boat hand.
yes, against Miss Joni.
No, against Pete.
Pete?
Against
Yes.
Pete,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But and I don't know what I think Dennis bought in for 1,000, so he's up a little bit.
Wow, 500, and we're
yeah.
only a few hands in. So
Yeah,
good on
yeah,
them.
they're definitely not afraid to put the chips in. I didn't realize that tonight was 5 on the button. I was like, okay, so wait, he just made it 15. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely just a 5 on the button night.
the well prepared, commentator.
Yeah, of course, he has all the information at hand.
I didn't even know if we had the mic in here when I walked in here.
Luckily, we had it all set up for Chris. So
Well, if it wasn't for Chris Gwynn, we would be in a bind. That's for sure.
Tell him again.
And I did mention, do you know they haven't set the dates for the West Texas Poker Championship yet? In April.
No, it'll be in April. We don't have the exact
Okay.
dates yet, but you can expect towards the end of April.
And I kind of previewed. Miss Carey kind of showed me that they got to finalize some stuff for our new schedule for the tournaments during the week.
Yes, we have a brand new, completely changed daily tournament schedule where we'll have daily every single day we're open from Tuesday to Sunday. We'll have a tournament. A lot of we're also planning on making a big change that still needs to be finalized, and I don't want to let too much on just yet. But it's going to be a great opportunity for the players to get into tournaments even cheaper and have bigger prize pools because of it. And so we're really looking forward to the changes that we're going to
Yeah, that's what I'd said earlier. Is that it all had to be finalized. I didn't give a lot of
Yes.
details. But she showed me the list coming up, and it looks like it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure a player like yourself, I know that
Well,
one of the particular things.
What y'all have done is, in this particular instance, is you put value back into the tournaments.
Absolutely.
It's like the Tuesday freeze out that we've had forever. It's 220, and by the time you do the add-on and all the you're 400 into this thing, plus you're paying time, plus you're doing
Yes.
and then you have a prize pool of 5,000.
Yes.
And the value, and so first place pays $2,000, and here if you've had to rebuy or do something like that, well now you're stuck in at 800. Just there wasn't a lot of value with the hourly and that kind of stuff. And you noticed you didn't see a lot of us here on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
You saw the points chasers.
Absolutely.
Is what you saw.
Absolutely. Which we want to cater to everybody, including the
course.
point chasers, the people who want to get those prizes that we do offer, but also to the people who maybe the cash game hasn't opened up and registration's still open and they want to hop in. We want to cater to
Well, and it's like
anybody who walks through the doors.
Faraz.
Yes.
That played. He played in the tournament series last week.
Yes, he did.
And he walked in to play in a cash game the night that we had the
Big O.
And there wasn't a cash table made yet, so he bought in and ended up taking 5th in the tournament. Didn't even know how to play the game.
Did not know how to play the game. He went up and asked Charlie, our floor manager at the time, and said, "How do you play this game?" And Charlie does a quick, rough explanation. He says, "Well, I don't really get it, but let me go ahead and buy in." He ended up with more than half the chips by the.
I'm starting to think we had
16th
the
level.
Pakistani truck driving version of Forrest Gump at our table. 'Cause he's pretty solid poker player.
He's solid.
The funniest one though was when he played with me in day one of the miniseries, and he's got this monster. I mean, we have 917,000. He finished day one with.
917,000.
We're down to the final 10, and next one out or next two out, we're all in to bag. That's when he finally found out it was a 3-day tournament. He had to come back on Sunday.
He said, "Wait, I have to work on Sunday. I have to ask off now." Yes. And Faraz is he's an enigma. That guy.
He's certainly fun to play with. And what's that?
Absolutely.
Robert makes the flush against Basil's pocket sixes.
Which Basil, I don't think is paying off with that scary.
I don't think he
card
can.
coming out. No, I mean he's got. If he didn't put him on the queen and the 7, I think. Doesn't
He
really
does
prove
call.
him.
He called him.
Wow.
It was only 45. I guess. That was a good bet by Robert. Robert actually laid down a hand a minute ago. I was shocked. He had an $80 raise with 2 callers in front of him. He looks down at ace queen of diamonds on the button and laid it down.
Wow.
Yeah, for a nickel.
Wow.
But I've played with him enough to know he might be one of the tighter players in here.
Absolutely, in this lineup for sure, he is.
I mean, out of this lineup, who is the tightest? You think it's him?
Absolutely. For me, I mean, it's either him, possibly Basil at times. It depends on, Basil in the right game, you'll find him barely playing a hand.
Yeah.
But in certain ones, he's nothing but action. Looks like Billy got up.
Oh yeah, Billy. He always gets up and down.
Yeah. So we'll see if we do have a list for the game.
Yeah.
So we'll probably be feeding people into this game as it is coming up. We do have seats open on a 5 on the button right now. So if anybody is tuning in, please come on up. We've got seats. But anyways, back to the action. Yeah. Honestly, back to the tournament series that we're the new updates that we're having. I'm very, very excited. Hopefully, it's just gonna be a smash hit.
Well, I got you here, and you can of course get the folks to verify or whatever. But
Sure.
I ran into some players that. They're social players today. They like to go play like at Rusty Bucket, those kind of. They
Absolutely.
play the
Free poker.
And I know that we've been trying to promote. Do you have any idea what nights they're going to do or try to do? Say the 1-3 game with an $8 seat charge, because those guys actually told me today that they would come back and play, and I want to cater to them too, because those are the ones on the nights we had those tables going. Y'all had your hands full, but that was a fun table to play at just because they come here to have fun.
Absolutely. I mean, back in the days of our free roll tournament, that whenever it was up and bumping, that tournament was a hoot. I mean, everybody was
$20 unlimited
fun,
rebuys.
$20 flying everywhere. I mean, it was.
Well, and I actually talked to that with them today. I said, when we had that $20 tournament, I said I'd be 300 deep in the first 2 levels. I didn't even look at my cards. All in.
Absolutely. Run a stack up and you're good to go.
Yeah, it never worked out that way for me. I just $20 at a time. Just keep going.
No, it was a great fun tourney. And while we don't offer a free roll in this, it's not projected for us to offer a free roll in this upcoming daily tournament series that we have. As far as 1-3 games, we haven't been promoting it to the extent that we probably should have been, but a 1-3 game has been at $8 an hour for at least the past 2 months.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We've been trying.
Well, didn't we do the 1-3 game on here one night?
Yes.
Because that's why I remember that was the hardest game in the world to call. Out of all the games I've called, and as I say this, we have 6 hands hitting the board.
There we go.
But if you watch the 10-25. You might have 3 hands to call. When you watch this one, okay, you're going to end up with 4 or 5 hands. You watch that 1-3, and there's 8 or 9 every single hand, and it's just sitting here going 5 deuce, king jack, ace 9, ace 4.
Yep. Percentages, just everybody's 30 and under because there's too many damn cards out there.
They're unbelievable.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, that was the hardest one to call, but it was the funnest one to call.
Absolutely.
Because who's not going to call $3 more and when it's a min raise and just to try to take a shot at
absolutely
stabbing.
And whenever whenever everybody's in there, a turn card can change everything. And that's really what makes that game.
And they just didn't lay it down. That's the funny part. They just didn't lay it down. That 1-3 game, they wouldn't lay it down till they just knew they were beat. I mean, and it was where you watch the guys that play, and for the lack of a higher level, you watch the higher level players. And the ones that are here, what I call sure enough players versus social players. You know, typically a 1-3 player will come in. They're a social player.
Absolutely.
You know, there are some sure enough players in the 5 on the button, but you get to the 10 and up, 25 and up. You know, those are definitely sure enough players.
Absolutely.
And they know from watching the two, they know pre-flop or flop whether they're beat. You know, and they're going to know the odds of whether they should chase it or whether they should to put more money in.
The odds game is much more
1-3, they don't care.
Let's play. You know, and it's the beauty of this game, truthfully, in that you can have those sure enough players who can run those odds, can run those calculations, and know the right move at the right time. Whereas it's still a gambling game, and those 1-3 players feel more than comfortable to gamble in the game.
You know, Bo and I have talked several times. Bo Walker and I've talked several times about, and he's like, "I'll go broke in a 1-3 game because I call everything."
Yes.
You know, it's just funny to. It looks like Mike Savoda just sat down.
There you go.
He's sitting. Him and Pete switched seats.
There you go.
But yeah, it's just you watch a 1-3 game, and I swear I'm like a monkey with a machine gun at a 1-3 game, and I walk out here going, "How did I just lose $400?"
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, in 2 hands, really?
Yeah, it's.
Yes.
But like I say, it's on the 1-3. It's a 50 men, right, and a 200 max.
200 max.
200 max, yeah.
And we are still offering $8 an hour to all of the people out there who are interested in that lower rate. We offer it.
And that's so much. And that's so much better. Believe it or not. I mean, the $8 an hour, because in a 1-3, no matter whether you're a gambler or not, it's awfully hard to outrun the seat charge in something like that. It can be done, but the majority of them don't.
Especially in Kojak's Poker Club, it can be done, but it is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and the nice thing about 50 to 200 is, you know, you don't have guys with just endless pockets sitting down with you and trying to bully the table.
Absolutely.
And I don't even think we do the 70% stack, do we,
No,
on the
no,
1-3? Yeah.
And that was one of our things is, you know, we've tried 3 on the button, and we've tried different games, but it does tend to get the players who are out. Our regular 5 on the button players, which is truly a different game. It's a higher stake game, and you know our max on that is 800, which is 4x for a 1-3 game.
But on the 5 on the button though, you do allow the 70%.
Absolutely.
You know, so because I've sat down at the 5 on the button before, and there'll be guys with 4,000 in front of them, and you know, you go to buying for that 800, you're like, I don't know if this is enough.
No,
you know,
and it really oftentimes isn't. You know, so a 1-3, that's even more my speed. That's what I would like to play. You know.
Yeah, there are nights that even the guys that play in the higher limit games, you just want to come in and have fun, and you don't care. You know, when I say that Bo and I talked about going broke, well, we're doing it because we're there to have fun. We're not trying to pay our mortgage payment or anything like that. We're there to just laugh and hoop and holler at the folks that you know with them that come in, and of course, you know, you definitely get those. How did you call that right there? I made it 27x.
Yeah. No, I'm going to call you with ace deuce, though. I failed to come.
Well, it's where Charlie plays his 5-3. It's where Charlie plays 5-3.
Of course. But, and the difference about it is really lies. Oh, there we go.
We're up and running. Yep.
So there we are, 30 minutes after, and we're live.
Lou, thank you for watching. Sterling, thank you for watching. I always try to thank everybody when they pop up on there that they're watching, and it's nice that y'all support the place and support this professionally run announcer in here that I told him right off the bat. I said, Charlie's not in here. I said, you're stuck with me.
Yep, we're stuck.
That's what I say. Jack Keene, where you at tonight? Tonight you ought to be here. But yeah, like I say, I've just been letting the game play because we've had some seat changes and things like that. So just kind of been going along, and there's 8 of them. So watch it yourself.
Absolutely.
You start going down the list, it's just like, okay. I mean, I literally have to hunt. It's like a crossword puzzle. I'm like, all right, who's got the best hand right now? When there's 8 of them on the board.
Yes.
It would be nice if it automatically jumped them. I know it's doing in seat time, but if it automatically jumped the best hands to the top.
Oh, that'd be an interesting little.
You know, where you can just look up and go, okay, so-and-so flopped, you know, X. Oh, Frankie picks up open-ended. This could be dangerous.
They all picked up a 10 on that turn card, but Pete's got the best kicker, so we'll see. Denny's sitting there with 0%. That's a big bet from Pete. He must know he's pretty strong here. Wow, yep.
Yeah.
Denny was just looking for that straight card, and
Frankie folded.
and Frankie's out too. Wow.
Our main event winner, Frankie.
Yes, our main event winner for I'm sure Chris had already mentioned it. We just got done with our winter mini series, and that was a big hit. And Frankie,
words are hard, right?
Yes, they're very hard. And Frankie ended up taking first place in our main event, so congratulations to him. All he ever wanted was a picture on the wall, so he got it. He got it. And there are some other players around who did win a couple events. One of them is sitting in here with me right now, Mr. Chris Carter.
I did win the bounty.
He took down the bounty tournament first place, and so
it was actually the
sir.
best series that I've had in the 3 years we've been running here. I played in 4 events, cashed in 3.
There you go.
And got
That's
knocked
a
out in
percentage.
17th in the one that I was
There you
playing
go.
out
So
of
still
47.
the main.
No, the main I took 13th in.
Oh, okay.
But in the Big O.
Yes. Okay.
In the Big O.
Okay.
Miss Nancy beat me like a tom-tom a couple of times with hands that made me, and it's so hard. You can't get mad at Miss Nancy. Like,
No.
how did you call with that?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
I just felt like gambling. Yeah, you gotta love Miss Nancy.
But-
here, Basil's picking up aces.
He is.
So we're gonna probably get some calls. Joni's feeling a little.
Lori
frisky.
Webb, thank you for watching. Corey Rogers,
Lori.
thank you for watching.
That's Miss Lindsay. Miss Lindsay joined us in the booth, and
Thomas, if I didn't mention it, thank you for watching. I may have already.
Oh, that's some scary stuff. Robert.
Yeah, Robert Fops a set of 3s. Oh, wow.
So Basil's definitely gonna give a that's so sick.
That's-
Just a
yeah.
little bit.
Dealers.
Basil.
He's gonna say a damn.
Basil could lose the rest of his stack right
He
here.
really
He
could.
really could. And watch a 4 come off and Denny just crush them all.
Oh, of course, I know. This is a live board with these cards right here. Mike's, he was just seeing if he could make something happen, but both him and Joni are probably getting out for too long. Oh, and was it Denny or Dennis had the
Denny. Denny had it.
Denny had it, and he's out of there. And so we'll see if Basil can trip up or hit his 4. And it's going to be a 7 on the turn, so that's going to give Robert still the
Robert
edge.
still has the lead, yeah.
He's
dead.
betting. It's another great bet.
2 aces and a 4 for, 2 aces or a 4, yeah.
He's really, and yep, that's it.
Ugh.
He's really betting nice and easily letting Basil. Wow, that's a
Right.
great bet because you can't fold.
He bet about, 20% of the pot there? 25%?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good bet.
Just 100, then 100.
But
It's such a
Basil,
great price.
that board will slow him down.
Wow. Yep, there he goes. And Robbie's gonna show him I hit a set on you. Good
There,
call.
you just saw him. You just saw his hand. Poker is sick.
He's gonna say, "Dang it, Josh." Who's our dealer there in the box?
Yeah, Crusher, are you dealing tonight?
I am.
She
I just
is.
pushed a couple pretty big pots on our round of each table.
Yes, we got a full. I think there might be one seat open.
Oh,
now,
look at
but there's
Robert. Robert's up to
It actually
1900.
filled up. It's back full.
filled up again. Yeah, that round of each game, I saw some ridiculous hands going around. I mean, $2,000 pots exchanging hands. And
There was about $1,000 pot, and the winner of the hand had 4, 7, 4, 4.
well,
So.
get in there. We definitely got some gamble in our players here tonight.
Well, I guess I better mention since Lori's watching. I hope you're feeling better. She's been. If I had her work ethic, I'd be a bazillionaire. She's been out this week. She's had a virus. It hadn't been the corona. We know that,
Good for her.
but she hadn't been feeling good. So
Well,
good thoughts there. Hope she gets feeling better.
All the blessings towards her. Right here we've got Basil picking up another decent hand, and he's still not, he can't be afraid to raise that ace queen if everybody's going to be limping around. And Denny and Joni are holding each other's outs, but they're both going to pick up gut shots there. Still
Yeah,
holding
Basil
each
picks
other's
up
outs.
ace queen.
That's just an action flop right there. Well, we'll see how gambly.
It's an
Joni-
action flop until it gets to Miss Joni. And then
Absolutely.
if there's a bet, she goes away.
Yeah. So I
She
think
doesn't ever. It's very rare for her to get out of line.
Mhm.
Very, very rare for her to get out of line.
She's calling withdraws.
And she made a liar out of me. So
There she
That's
goes.
awesome. Yep.
Well, I mean, it's a gutter. If Joni got draws, she ain't afraid to put some money in there.
Yeah, she usually doesn't put a gutter in there though.
Oh, well, we'll
But
see.
she's
We'll see if it pays off.
she's been stung a little bit tonight. So
Yeah.
hey, she bet it. So it's
Oh.
easier to bet it than it is to.
And-
Denny foot picks up open ended.
So he's going nowhere with a little bet from Basil. Basil's betting pretty
And-
small. I think he knows he's good right now, and these guys are looking for draws. If a heart comes out, that's going to be an opportunity for anybody to just reach out and kind of steal this. A 10. That's
No
going to
help.
be nothing for anybody. Basil's got the check mark. It's going to be a check, most likely a bet from Basil, and then a fold.
Yeah.
Oh, feeling frisky.
No.
No.
He
No,
didn't
both
put
of
frisky.
these players here are not gonna try and steal that from Basil because Basil, I think, having been stung a couple times just then, is gonna be
I think
more
that
than willing
would
to
that would have
call.
been the only reason that somebody. might
yeah.
have called theirs.
A heart pops off on that river and
Billy pushed him off of a pot earlier where he had it, and I looked up just about the time Billy makes a bet pre-flop, and Billy opened with Queen 8 rainbow.
there you
And I'm like,
go.
well, Billy's bored.
Yeah.
and then Billy just kept the story going the whole way and ended
Yeah.
up taking down a pretty good pot.
That's
I want to say 100 off the flop and Basil calls and then 250 on the turn and Basil laid it down at that
Yeah.
point with the best hand at the time.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Billy story right there. Just,
But Billy, that's what I said. Billy knows when to push and when
he
to
knows
get after.
who to push.
Yeah.
You know, and the when and the who matter immensely
Absolutely.
in any game, really. Rob might raise maybe, or just a link with the Queen Jack. Just a raise.
A
Oh, okay, yeah. Basil's,
Oh, I thought Basil moved all in with that. I'm like,
with
no.
that 10-7. No.
That's how you know it was a glitch in the
Mhm.
system when it said Basil moved all in with 10-7.
Yeah, definitely a glitch. And we got 9-7-4 on the flop, rainbow.
No
It's
help.
It's gonna leave Mike in the lead with his ace high. But Frankie's gonna show some aggression and get everybody to fold. Nice
Wow.
hand, Frankie. 5 deuce.
Yeah, I told
Pulling up
Frankie.
the old Charlie.
I went up to his is 5-3, but yeah, he's trying
Oh,
to. Yeah.
excuse me.
But I went up to Frankie before this started, and I said, I just want you to know how much money I lost because you won the main. You know?
Oh man, man. I mean, he was.
I really didn't lose any money. But I just like give him a hard time, and it, yeah, you have no idea how much money I lost because you won the main.
Oh, Frankie was quite a player that night. He
Right.
ended up having a little bit of drink, but still just pulled out an incredible win. So happy for Frankie.
He pulled out a win that saved us being a drive-through because he was going to drive right through that back wall.
Yeah.
He gets heads up and raises pre-flop with pocket kings and what was the guy's name? Eddie. Yeah, Eddie. I kept wanting to say something, but yeah, Eddie calls him with 6-4.
Yep.
And the flop comes little 6 little or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They get it all in off the flop. They flip their cards over and Eddie hits a 4 on the turn. And Frankie said he was about to go through the roof and a king fell on the river to
Yep.
give him a set.
Yep.
But he said, yeah, I was about to run right through that wall right there. And but yeah, he did well.
But yes, we're definitely missing Charlie today. You know, we're used to having him, of course, for the live streams. But I mean, just generally, days like this are almost always hectic for us floor managers. So having extra hands is always helpful. We've got a Miss Kelly who came in to help us floor, so I can sit back here and yuck up some with Chris
Yep.
Carter. So big thanks to her. And we had our Saturday deep stack earlier today. Nice little prize pool, about 4,200 in there.
Who won that one?
It was a chop between 4 players.
Oh, okay.
And now, because we don't have the point series running, they just chopped it and went over to play cash. A couple
Okay.
of Miss Joni ended up taking some money out of there. Miss Carrie did, so it was nice. You know, for a post main event week, it's really not been too bad. They're always generally slower. You know, we've had a couple new players in this week, and I always have to preface with
Okay.
it's a tough week that you came in just because it really is typically one of our slowest weeks out of the
Right
year.
after a series.
Or right after series, just because it
Well, and I said we had several players that went to that big event in Houston, and,
Yes,
and wish
yes.
them luck. And Denny's not going anywhere,
no,
and now Basil's not going anywhere.
no, we've got
Royal flush draw against
check.
open ended.
and an 8. He finally hit his open ended, so
Denny hit the open ended.
mhm.
Oh, and Basil's got to lay it down.
Yeah. I think he said that's so sick and put his.
Oh, but the 8 of
Switch
diamonds
out
would have been
the
pretty
board.
brutal.
Oh yes, that would have been a lot for Denny. And Denny's pretty snug and can wiggle out of situations like that if Basil raised too big. But if he makes it the right price, Denny has to lose a lot if that 8 comes out. But did not. Just gonna be a simple straight card for Mr. Denny, and on to the
Yep.
next one. Yeah, Basil is hurting. I believe he bought him for 7 at the start.
700, yeah.
So he's.
And like I say, he took a couple of pretty ugly beats.
Mhm.
That just, like I said, he loses 100 to Billy getting pushed off of it, and then the set over with his aces.
So yeah,
It,
that's always going to be rough for any player. Basil's going to limp the 7s. Frankie, I don't see him folding 3 deuce suited. There he goes.
Not
Little
for,
raise.
yeah. Not for $5.
No. And if anybody's showing weakness, then.
Oh, pocket 8s, and she raises. She 3 bets
Oh
to 50.
wow.
Oh, Basil.
Yeah, he's gonna get in there. I mean, that's why you raise pocket pairs like that. I mean, unless. Oh wow! So it's. I would have assumed the queen jack or the 3 deuce might have just called to see a flop, but it's gonna be 8s versus 7 here. No help to Basil. Johnny's got the lead. Basil's gonna see if he fires out at this.
Joe, thank you for watching. James Taylor, thank you for watching.
We got a check, bet, and a fold from Basil. He knows he was just pure set minded on that.
Well, but I also think that the ace ran him off. He
Yeah.
might any other, if a 3 comes, 2, 3, 9, he
Sure.
stays.
Sure.
But so that ace actually saved him money.
He knows, yeah. Especially with Joni 3-betting pre-flop.
Absolutely.
It's either pocket pair or ace
Yeah.
X.
Yeah, and I think Joni's down a little bit right now. I think she
Yeah.
bought it for 15, didn't she?
I believe so.
Yeah. She's had some rough beats.
But she takes him with the best of them.
She does.
I'm not sure if you have noticed, but we did adjust our camera angles, and I think you can see a lot more. And I'm really enjoying it. I think you've
Yeah.
got a lot. You can see every player. Of course, you can see the dealer a little extra. So.
And that's
Sorry.
good. No, it's good that we need to see their dealers.
Absolutely.
We need to see who crushes people's souls. Wow, everybody limped. This is a limp pot.
It was a limp
How did 10s limp in right
Yeah,
there?
and
Or
he's the
6s for
button.
that matter.
He was the button, so he just checked it. I
Yep.
mean, that's pretty dangerous when now that ace flops out and then any bet, yeah, he had to fold. I mean, I guess Frankie's probably calling with the ace 5.
Well,
maybe?
Frankie bet 15, and Mike calls Mike calls with 10s.
He did
Yeah.
call with the 10. So now he's way behind. So we'll see if 10-9 now.
Why did Denny stay? I don't understand it.
I don't either.
And now he picks up open ended though.
Yeah.
Whew, dodged a bullet.
And Frankie's going to still have the check mark. He's going to probably lead out here. We'll see if Mike can get away from this. It's a just tiny bet into this.
With 2
pot.
overs, I think he can.
Let's see. Oh, I think he announced fold and fold. Little pot for Frankie. Here's a look at the stack sizes again. And yep, Basil's slowly but surely getting down. And I've dealt a lot to Basil. I've played with Basil, and I know he will have $10 in his stack and will fold until he can get it all in there. And if he loses, then he'll get the buy back in chips.
But he's also run that 5 up or 10 up to where he walks out a winner.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Basil.
Look at that, limping with ace king suited.
Oh, wow. Wow. And with how, I mean, this table's been pretty raise shy. So it's rare to see. He's going to flop the ace, and so does Frankie. So that's going to be a little dangerous. Is that 2 clubs? Or
2 clubs.
2 clubs.
2 clubs.
So we'll see if Mr. Robert can improve. But I doubt it. It's going to be a bet. We'll see if Frankie's got a call with his top pair. Robert's out of the way. Turns a deuce. Frankie's looking for a 9 and a 9
only. Yeah, nothing else helps.
Quick little bet from Dennis, $50. That is an over bet.
Jade Walker, thank you for watching.
Where you been, Jade? Come on up.
Yeah, she can come commentate with us.
Yeah. She has before.
She has,
hasn't
yeah, she has, yeah.
What time is it now, Mr. Chris?
8:51.
8:51. I might peek my head out there for just a little bit, make sure everything's running smoothly, check on Kelly, make sure she's okay. But
Okay.
I'll be back before too long.
Okay.
All right.
Excuse me. Wow, everybody limps in. And Pete's gonna pick up a little pot. Joni's leading the VPIP. You can kind of see 20% to 68% from bottom to top. Joni picks up open-ended. 2 spades on the board, but there's no flush draws, so now Robert's open-ended. They're a little short on 7s though, from what I can tell. And Robert will take it down. Brian, thank you for watching. Looks like Dennis picked up trip 5s. There's Basil. King, Queen. That might save Basil. That ace might actually save Basil some money. Dennis just bets 15. Yeah, Basil folds. They just brought me Starbucks.
You're paying for mine, by the way. No, I'm kidding. Kind of.
Keikoa wakes up with pocket nines. Then he raises to 30 with King Jack of spades. Like I said, I've just been kind of letting you watch because we're getting so many hands coming in calling for the $5 that I've been just kind of waiting, letting them thin out a little bit. And Basil calls with pocket sevens. And see what happens on the flop. Pete picks up open-ended. Basil picks up a gut shot. And Basil is in the lead. Well, a spade draw. I guess it's a spade draw there. So Denny's actually in the lead. Denny bets 75. Oh, Basil calls. Oh, and he makes it straight. Basil should take this one down. Oh, that's brutal. Brutal, brutal. He's going to lose 100 here for sure. Oh, yeah, that was pretty rough. Yeah, highlight of my night so far, folks. My daughter brought me Starbucks. It was pretty awesome. You can hear me putting the sweet and low in my drink. Sorry. King 9 versus 7-6. That's a pretty good flop for King 9, I guess. I'm gonna step out for just a minute, folks. Not that I'm saying a whole lot anyway. I just we'll watch this hand and I'll be right back. King Queen against pocket deuces, and there's the king with the flush draw. Looks like we're going to have a dealer change. So maybe we'll get some lively hands going. But I'll be right back, folks.
Hey everybody, this is Chris, taking a break from tracking all of the action and decided to jump into the broadcast booth and see what we got going on. Far as I can tell, sitting at the table, it's a pretty slow game today. Pretty standard plays going on. Basil actually caught a hand instead of getting drawn out on.
He actually won a hand?
He actually won a hand.
Well, I didn't have enough sweet and low. I had to go get some sweet and low. So,
Yeah. Flop top pair and river to set.
river to set or river trips?
Trips.
Trips. Not that I was correcting. I just wasn't sure because I'd missed the action. What little action there is tonight. It's funny. It's coming in spurts. We go a long time where I'm just sitting here like, okay.
And
then
that
we'll
was
have-
boring.
And then we'll have a, you know. But it's almost like ABC poker tonight.
Mhm. Pete lost pretty bad.
Did he?
I mean, not while you were gone, but I mean,
Oh, that
he's-
one, that hand earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
But he also won pretty big his pocket threes against
Yeah.
those aces.
Oh, that was Robert.
Oh, I see.
One of those hands that Basil lost.
Yeah. Yeah, Basil's had some good hands. Like that hand he just lost to Denny. I mean, right before I walked out, King Jack of Spades, and he makes a set on the river, you know, and has to pay off the 125. It just,
Yep.
he's just not running good tonight. Keikoa's had tens 2 or 3 times tonight. Oh, and then he wakes up with kings. This could be fun. I think Frankie folds king queen here with Denny making that bet.
Kakoa's been pretty quiet tonight.
He made some good plays where he didn't have it and pulled it down. But yeah, for the most part, he's been pretty quiet. I don't know if he calls 85 here with pocket tens.
Might not.
He's definitely shooting up a slope. Yeah, he folded because all the tens are gone.
Yeah. Got a blue line in the table on the right. I mean, it's part of the camera.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I need to go reset that camera.
Yeah, Mikey said y'all readjusted the camera because it looks good tonight. Frankie has pocket sevens. He's playing. But yeah, it looks pretty good tonight. We just need some more action tables or cards to hit the board so that these guys, I mean, they're not afraid to put their money in. They're just not getting the hands to do it. And,
Yeah.
oh, look at this. Dennis wakes up with aces. And Frankie folds sevens. Somebody get Frankie a red solo cup. He never folds pocket sevens.
He's been playing pretty tight tonight too. Folding a lot more than normal.
You win one main event, and all of a sudden, you know, you're a poker player.
Yeah, Charlie and I have been looking at options for a new table.
Mm-hmm.
The players really don't like playing on this table, so we're looking to see if we can get something a little better. Oh, Frankie's got pocket kings up there with against Joni's tens.
Oh, wow.
This could be a painful hand for one of them. But yeah, we're looking at some options for a new table. A lot of the players don't like how tall the rail is off the table, so we might look at lowering it down. And a bunch of players aren't real happy about the shape of the table, so
You know, I've played on it a couple times. I don't mind the shape of the table.
It's not too bad unless you're in the very corners. Then it gets pretty tight. We're looking at going possibly 10-handed,
Oh, that'd be nice.
and then moving the action tracker somewhere else so that you pick up an extra seat at the table. Looking at going with a little bit bigger table.
I wouldn't mind if we could mic up the players.
We'd love to mic up the players, but Facebook wouldn't like it very much if we did.
Right.
So we'll probably stay away from that. If we could get everybody to move over to YouTube or Twitch, we could probably go ahead and make that a reality. But as it stands, that's probably not going to happen. Another positive about switching it over to YouTube or Twitch is that we could actually stream in 1080p instead of 720.
I see.
Facebook won't let us go that high, and we can't stream in multi resolution, so everything has to be 720.
Oh, I see. And it's still a pretty good picture.
It is pretty decent. Well, the picture we see is 1080. It gets downsampled before it goes out to the.
Well, but I'm watching
to
it
the
here
world.
on Facebook, and it's still not a bad picture.
I mean, 720 on a cell phone is way more resolution than you would ever really need.
Yeah, it just if I don't have my glasses on, I can't see what's happening on there anyway. So
Yeah. But if you get it out on a decent sized computer monitor, it could make a difference. 720 versus 1080.
yeah. Basil bets 15 with his queen.
Mike's not going anywhere.
No, Pete's not going anywhere.
No. They both picked up the straight draw, but
Pete's gonna take one down.
Mike might make that call.
Oh, they just checked it
Yeah,
down.
check,
Yeah.
check. Oh, yep. I saw the plus 80 there and thought that was a bet, and it's not. It's his
Yeah.
winnings for the hand.
Yep.
One of the things I'm talking about doing to try to make this stream just a little bit better is taking our little backdrop
Mhm.
and moving it over there behind the 1, 2, 3 camera
Oh, I see.
so that it kind of blocks the thing.
On that, on Joni's end where she's sitting
Yeah.
behind them.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that.
So-
Pike and Kings are coming out pretty regular so far.
Yeah, Kings have been pretty hot tonight. Oh, and
Oh.
Queen. I like this hand.
Mike's probably doubling up.
Oh, and Frankie is Frankie gonna come along with Queen
Nah,
Jack?
I don't know. He's been playing pretty tight, so I don't know if. Yeah, I figured he'd lay that.
Yeah.
Figured he'd lay that down.
Is Mike just gonna call here, or is he gonna actually bump it again?
He should bump it again.
Looks like he's bumping it again.
I think he went all in. He did. He went all in for
3 and change.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's 4-bet to $34.
Yeah, no.
Looks like 240 is what's in front of it. It's either 240 or 330. There's 340 in front of him. 335. Of course, Dennis calls.
Of course he does.
Has to, yeah. And they were both short a queen and a king, so
Yeah.
Mike doubles up.
Yeah, there's no way Dennis can get away from that.
Mm-mm.
Not for that amount of money and not heads up with queens. I mean, that's That hand plays itself.
Well, and he already had 70 in it, so
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was not enough money for him to be able to get away from the queens, and
that was actually a pretty nice just min raise there by Mike. I mean, because he didn't jam the pot right there until it got back around to him.
yeah. And that's just one of those pair versus bigger pair of places where you're just going to lose money.
Yeah. I don't know though. In early position, I don't know if just limping in right there was okay. I jam. I mean, I don't jam my whole stack, but I let them know. I just soon take the blinds, and I think people sometimes forget that after the flop, it's just a pair.
It's just a pair. That's
You
it.
know? And wake up to where a set of threes just beat you.
How big is your pair? About this big.
At the very least, you want to make the little pairs and things like that draw at you.
Yeah.
You know, so you definitely want to raise it, but you know, I don't think you'll ever see me limp in an early position with aces, kings, queens, jacks. And a note to anybody that plays with me, I only play the nuts when I play, and and I raise in the early position with aces, kings, queens, and jacks. So
Every single time.
every single time.
And not a little raise, but like a
Yeah,
manly raise.
I want you to feel it when if you were to play pocket threes.
Yeah, that was part of the discussion between Basil and Robert whenever Basil's threes drew out against his aces. Or when Robert's threes drew out against Basil's aces was Basil
Was that
just
Robert or
limped
was
in.
that Pete?
No, it was Robert.
Oh, okay.
And Basil just limped in with the pocket aces with like 5 people in the pot. And Robert's like, you never should have.
No.
That should have been a huge raise. Put the pressure on. He said, I'd have folded my threes in a heartbeat.
Well, especially Robert. I mean, Robert's been playing. There was a hand early in the evening where there's 4 callers in front of him, and I want to say it was $50-$60, you know, to call. And he had ace on the button. He had ace queen of diamonds, and he laid it down.
Yeah.
And you know, he plays pretty tight.
Yeah.
I say play pretty tight. I mean, if you get to limp in with pocket threes, I'm going to limp in every time. Look at that. There's aces.
Oh, and Kakoa with aces.
This is where you
Fun
hope
stuff.
somebody wakes up with a hand. Nope.
Pete's queen jack may actually make the call.
Nah. He may make a liar out of me, but no, he's going to fold. Look at him. The way he's folding.
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, that's horrible. You make $10 with pocket aces. But again, after the flop, they're just a pair,
It's just a
and
pair.
make those draws pay for it.
Well, that's. I mean, the situation Basil was in earlier with the pocket aces. I don't want to take my aces up against 5 players anytime. Even though I'm the favorite going into the flop, I do not want to take my aces up against 5 players.
Well, against
I'm
5
gonna-
players, you're gonna win a little pot or lose a big one, and,
Yeah.
and that's, you know.
Yeah. So I'm putting a good raise in there with the pocket aces and 4 people already in ahead of me. And I'm gonna make somebody pay to see the next set of cards.
Yeah.
And if I get a caller or 2, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Right. 1 or 2 callers is okay, but you never want any hand to go against 5 pre-flop.
Unless it's something stupid like 7-2 and you didn't have to put any money in to get there.
Frankie wakes up with pocket 9s. He'll play this. I say play this no matter what, but he folded pocket 7s earlier. There's one of his 9s gone. Wow, and they folded.
Oh, Johnny folded my favorite hand.
What is
Or
she
my
fold?
stupid hand, 5-2.
5-2.
My stupid hand is what I call it. Because I know how stupid it is to play, but I do anyway.
That's a.
Oh, Mike to flop top pair, but can he get away with it with the 2 4s?
Nah, he showed him,
And
and
he does.
Frankie says no good.
Frankie says, I had you beat. I didn't have the 4, but I had you beat.
Yeah, he showed him.
That's
Yeah,
one of
we-
those tough positions to be in, too, whenever it flops a pair and you've got the high, and you've paired the high card, and somebody's leading out, and you're like, well, are they going to lead out there with a 4?
Yeah, exactly.
Some people will and some people won't. It really just depends on the player. And some people will sometimes and won't other times. And some people use it as a bluff. So really a lot about knowing your players and what they're capable of and what they're likely to be doing. Looks like the cards have been reading pretty good today.
They have. We hadn't had any issues other than when somebody's missed the circle,
Yeah.
and that's happened very, very rarely.
Yeah.
I will say this: these guys are so much better. When we've done the 1-3s or the 5 on the buttons, they're so much better about getting their cards read versus the bigger game when it gets on here.
Yep. We're hoping whenever we get a new table to move the readers a little bit closer in so that it's a little easier for the players to get them there. They don't have to pull the cards all the way back to the rail to read them.
And Frankie folds. She just reached for her chips and he folded.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Joni's reaching for chips with an ace on the board and all you've got's king high. I'm out.
Yvonne, that's her name, right? The dealer? Yeah. Yeah. How long has she been here? A month? Is that about right?
Might not even be quite that long. Might only be about 3 weeks, but somewhere in that round in there. She's fitting in pretty good.
She's real nice. I mean, I've
Real
enjoyed
friendly.
having her deal at the table. She's a very competent dealer. Seems
yeah.
to be.
Very efficient, very competent, very friendly. Always has a smile on. You
And
can't
she
see
does.
it because
She
of her
does the
mask,
one
but-
thing that, and I'm not saying our dealers do, but she does the one thing that a lot of dealers. Basil moves all in for 100 with Ace King suited. She doesn't talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mind chatter at the table. I mean, most of our dealers are good about that, but she's like Captain Silent.
Yeah.
You know, until it's your turn.
And then you better act, or she's gonna tell you.
Yeah, she'll tell you about it, but yeah, like I say, she doesn't. She just lets the game happen in front of her, and which all of the dealers here seem to do that pretty well.
We've got one or two that like to be a little chatty, but for the most part, the game just goes. I wasn't gonna say anything. Ace King
Did
versus
Frankie
Queen
call him?
Jack.
Frankie did call him.
Yeah.
Bye, Basil. The way Basil's running tonight, he's just not running good.
No, he's not.
Come on, let Basil double up here. Double up, Basil. There he goes. He doubled
Got
up.
it.
Good deal. Yeah, I'm glad Basil doubled up because he has. He's been playing really well and running really bad. Ian, thank you for watching.
Some days that happens. Some days you just cannot beat the cards.
Well, I want to say it was in I think it was one of Doyle Brunson's books that I read one time, and of course it's been said forever, but the worst player in the world can beat the best player in the world of this game on any given day
Any given
And-
day.
if the cards don't run right. And like I say, Basil's been getting just cards you dream about getting, and just getting them run over
Yeah.
with cards that make you scratch your head. It's like, really? That's what just beat me?
Pocket threes versus pocket aces.
Yeah, like I say, but I guess I always equate that luck, to like luck of the bounce. Or I tell people all the time, if you're playing golf and you hit a ball 300 yards down the middle of the fairway and it bounces and rolls right up there on the green, well, that's pocket aces.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get up there and hit that same ball 300 yards and hits a sprinkler head and bounces off into out of bounds, that's 7-2 offsuit. And so I mean, luck of the draw is really
Yeah.
like luck of the luck of the
The bounce.
the bounce, yeah. Oh, we got some potential here. Ace King against Pocket Jacks,
Eight,
and the
nine
Queen
suited.
takes the lead. Any hearts? Oh, Dennis has the best heart.
Yeah. Oh, so much potential in this hand.
Frankie has top pair, and this is pretty gross. Well, yeah, we're at a coin toss.
Yeah.
I mean, even with one card to come, Dennis is a long ways from being out of it.
Yeah, he's about 1-3 to win this one still. 1-4, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, 70-30. Yeah. One.
A little better than 1-4.
Yeah, I just always say 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 favorite. It's
Yeah.
Corey Smith, you back. Thank you for watching.
There's my 5-2. Is Pete gonna play it?
No.
No, he's not gonna play it. Especially not from under the gun. Well, after this hand, I'm going to go ahead and go relieve Mike from the table. Let him come back and talk to all the people out here again. He gave me a nice little 30-minute break from the table. I appreciate that. Look at that. Basil's in there with the 4-2. Picked up an inside straight draw and the middle pair. Nope, low pair. Small pair.
Small pair. Yeah, one little bump and they're going to run.
So Frankie bet with nothing but a backdoor flush draw. Guess that's the power position, right?
Yeah, but he's going to get called.
He did. Mike called
Yeah, I
and
was gonna say.
Basil's
Basil's it's for Basil's whole stack basically.
yeah.
If he makes this call, he's got to put it all in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's-
yeah. I mean that was
And when you're short stack, that's one of those hands where you're going, why did I call to begin with? Why did I?
oh, and look at that. Frankie's draw gets a little bit better. Folds to Mike's bet.
Well, and he did not want a heart to come.
No. No, he didn't. And plus, when the third one hits, I mean, it makes a lot of sense for. I mean, Mike can make that call with the
Absolutely.
flush draw already. So, all right, I'm out.
Well, send me a victim back here, so we'll
I will
Just
see what I can
randomly find somebody. We'll talk about something.
do. Alrighty.
Well, we got some action again, possibly. Oh, Dennis picks up a monster against Pete's pocket tens. Everybody's checking. Pete's going to bet his tens. That's a good bet. I'm thinking Denny and Dennis probably both call here with having spades and a spade draw. Oh, set of tens now. But I just realized we have the crusher dealing, and if he bets and gets a call, she's probably putting a spade on the board. She's fixing to break somebody's heart. I just have a feeling. think Dennis will probably fold here, but he may make a liar out of me. He's going to call. And Pete's going to take it down. One of the bigger pots of the night. 715 in the middle. I think Dennis probably lays it down here. Pete's up over 2,000 now. It's looking pretty good. Hunter, thank you for watching. The ace deuce is in the lead, but he can't be real happy with that. He comes out firing, it looks like 60, 20. Oh, 20. Thought that was 2 greens and 2 reds. Frankie wakes up with pocket jacks. We should see a raise here, I think. I don't think he'll limp with jacks. Makes it 30, it looks like. 35. I don't think anybody has the cards to call him except for Mike, and I don't know what Mike's are, but the way he had chips in his hand, 10 jack. Frankie bets another 35, and Mike lays it down. And here comes the crusher. Nope, didn't help. Figured she'd put a 10 out. And Frankie will take it down. Denny with the basil, 10 jack. Frankie calls, Joni calls. Well, Denny jumps out with the lead here and checks it. Robert bets 50 with his pocket 10s. Pretty sure he's going to get a call. Yeah, they check. Diddy picks it up. Robert knew that there was something fishy there.
Hello.
And Mike's back. Mikey.
Oh. What a little hand. Check full?
Check. Yeah, check.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just check.
Yeah. He probably. Oh, I didn't even see he hit the boat. So yeah, there's really not much more value you're getting out of there.
Then he flops the trip nines, and Robert bets right there off the flop. Of course, he gets called, and it's check the whole way after
Oh
that.
my goodness. Yeah, I mean, Robert's pretty likely to play kings pretty cautiously in that spot. Well, Yeah, I was over there doing the button pushing of the overlay for a little bit there.
Apparently, peanuts are loud on our mic. I just got a text like, "Were you eating it?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Chris was in there eating those peanuts while we were commentating.
Oh, goodness.
And yeah, it said it was loud on the mic. It's pretty funny.
We'll have to.
I'll have to give him a hard time about that.
Yeah, definitely. We'll try and refrain from eating there, y'all. Somebody's got a 10. Basil.
I won't. I was hungry, so they're bringing me a pizza pocket or something here in a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we offer a couple little small meals you can get now.
Well, snacks.
Yeah, they're really snacks, especially for you, Carter.
Well, what are those? What are those little pizza? They're not pizza pockets. The little pizza bites or whatever.
Tostinos.
Yeah, those pizza bites.
Mm-hmm.
The first night y'all had them up here, like, you get 12 for $3. I said, bring me 24. They looked at me like I lost my mind. I said, they're little.
They are little. They're little things. And we've got Basil with the trips. He's finally bet on the turn. And then Mike hit his queen on the turn. So now Basil's going to lead out again for 25. We'll see.
Yeah, he can't call. I don't think Mike calls with
No.
that ace on the board.
As I was watching him play, he's pretty dang snug. He folded like a 7 when the board came out, 7-4-4 or something like that.
Yeah, to Frankie's bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Frankie had something good. I mean,
Pocket nines.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie showed him. He had pocket nines.
Well, yeah, it's been pretty good for Pete over there. I saw him take down
Yeah, he's up over $2
decent
grand.
one.
He's
There
like
you go.
2,200, 2,300 according to the Chipometer.
After those tough beats he was making up there at the beginning.
Mhm.
When I got down at the table, he said he was like, "Man, I played those hands so bad," and he's like, "I hate that it's live streamed," and that just shows you, these players do tend to play differently whenever they're sitting down on a game like this.
Did you tell him we agreed?
Mike was trying to tell me he said, "I'm only playing this hand because I'm on a heater. I want that in on the live stream. Can you put that in there somehow?"
Which hand was that?
I'm
Did
not
he show
sure.
you?
It was I think it was raised to 25, 3 other callers.
Oh.
And I think he said, "I'm only playing this because I'm on the heater." Oh, and here you go. Like you were talking about earlier, when you got 7 hands,
Uh-huh.
it's pretty tough to see who's
You
ahead.
got nut flush draw.
Yep.
Here, a pair of 10s picks up the lead. Right? There's no queens. Yeah, a pair of 10s is leading it.
But Robert's got a lot of outs.
Open-ended for Joni.
Mm-hmm. But wow. Everybody's just waiting.
And the clubs get there.
Clubs get there, so Robert's got the lead. Now, it's wow. Just checks around. He's going to bet a quarter, and it's probably going to be folded around.
Pick up a $65 pot.
Interesting.
Oh, he calls.
Wow.
With top
See,
pair?
it's surprising to me to not bet the turn.
Well, and you just said how snug you was too. So
Yeah.
these players will make a liar out of you pretty quick.
Yeah.
Denny
Yeah.
called. Apparently, Denny called the 25 with a pair. With trip sixes.
Oh, wow.
That makes sense.
Wow. That's a gin card, really.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Because he improves to 2 pair, of course. I mean, it's not like he was beating anything else other than that. But wow, yeah, for Denny to hit trips like that, I guess all that checking turned out to be profitable for Robert there. Another look at the chip count shows Robert is up. I think he's in for the 15, so not up too much.
Did Robert
but
buy him for 15 or 1,000?
I thought it was 50. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 15.
Okay.
So he's up about 300. Joey's gonna get in there with the 9-6 suited. Mike's in there with 7-5 off. We got some gamble.
Just makes my head want to explode.
It's gonna come out.
Because there's literally no rhyme or reason for there's no other than gamble. They're suited. There's no.
Well, 7-5 off. You're truly just throwing it to the wind. See what happens. A lot
With
of
any of the hands we just saw call $5 with, the button should have got a walk. This just hurts my head. Oh my gosh.
Here comes Joni with the 9-6 she calls. And check. And Basil finally hits a pair. And it's going to go check. And Basil's going to pick up $35. That hand was odd. that
It hurts my head.
that one was a bit strange for sure. I think somebody folded a flush as well. There's a VPIP. Frankie, of course, he's almost always at the top in general. And then you got
From 25% to 69%. It's just
it's
your
quite a
VPIP's
range.
supposed to be 16%, 17%, and we don't have anyone even close to that number.
Not close. Keikoa is who I've noticed has been playing a lot more. I mean, he's just been folding a lot more hands than I typically do see him, and I'm not sure if it's a live stream thing, but here he goes raising Ace Jack, so that's going to be good enough in his range. But with how snug he is that just a fold all the way to the button with the same exact hand? And it looks like, due to the percentage of the other hands that we saw, Keikoa is more likely to make a flush, is what I'm imagining that 51-49 comes out to.
And now just flip flop after the flop. So
But I mean, this we'll see who steals it.
yeah, it's going to be a betting match for sure. First one to bet wins, basically.
Absolutely.
I played a hand one time. Speaking of Ace Jack, I was at a tournament at WinStar, big tournament at WinStar, and all day long Ace Jack. People would play Ace Jack and just didn't work at our table all day long. And TJ Cloutier sits down to my right,
Okay.
and I look down at Ace Jack. Fire out, open like you're supposed to,
Sure.
in position. Comes around to him, he just calls, blank the flop. I see bet, blank, he calls. Turn bet, I bet the turn. River, I check it to him, I give up control of the pot. He comes out firing, And I just said, well, boys, I said, look here, they made a straight. They both made a straight.
Oh wow.
No, they didn't. I'm sorry.
Jack 10-9.
Yeah,
Missing that 7.
Yahtzee straight.
Yep.
So I just tell everybody I flip over my Ace Jack. I said, well, Ace Jack's not working on this table. And TJ says, well, it is for me, and flips over Ace Jack in the hand. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if we get a situation like this. Can Pete call it? He's thinking real hard about this. And I think Keikoa bet the turn and he called. He's really thinking about. I would love for him to call this right here, just for the yuck.
If he calls, I want to know why.
Oh,
That's
I mean, I guess he's just putting Keikoa on air. He had to have been on the turn because there's a lot of cards out there.
But you would think if
Flush
he called the
out
turn,
there.
he called the.
Yeah.
He'll call the river. You would think that.
That's what but man, he's thinking about this.
But you've got to call 85 into a $195 pot. You're.
We'll see. I mean,
I don't know if it's.
a lot of people would disagree with the turn call, but I mean, I would say he's ahead, but I mean, it is a job.
If you're committed to that, then go ahead and commit. I guess.
Mm-hmm. And Keikoa's.
He's calling.
Please.
Don't tell me he's not raising. Does he pick up raising chips?
Please raise this right here. So he's bluffing. He's pure bluffing now. Oh, it's a call.
He just called. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he just called.
That is great. What a hand.
If he would have
Yeah, there they
raised right
go.
there, he'd have put it on a different level.
Yeah. Wow. Great hand, both of them. That is awesome. What a great call by Pete. I wonder what he put him on, and you can see them talking. He's talking it out right now. Frankie's getting in on the laughs. That's an interesting call. The turn call, especially. I don't see. I mean, Pete's been. He took a couple of those bad beats up in the early game and said he was playing poorly. Now he's turning that completely around and deciding to really put his thinking cap on and figure out these spots. Well played by Pete.
Yeah.
And well played by Keikoa. I mean, he took a decent line, but Pete just sniffed it out right from the beginning.
He's sticky.
Yeah. Yes, he is. He'll call just for the information, which a lot of times can be very, very useful. It helps the rest of the table too. There's Joni looking us deep in our hearts. Then we got a raise from Mr. Denny, who's got the King Jack. Frankie's gonna call with the notched hand right above him.
Well, at least they're all suited.
Yeah, they are all suited. There's 3 kings out, so Basil's got Queen 10, so his odds go up above the other guys with worse kickers than Frankie. So he's gonna get in there. We'll see how it turns out for old Basil. We'll see if this Case King comes out. Then we'll see some fireworks. Nope, just queen 10, and so Basil's
wow.
got a nice hand. But king queen is
Everybody
still,
picks up something.
Yeah, that's honestly a nice
Basil's
spot.
open ended.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody has spades? Nobody has spades because
Is that all in from Basil?
he bet 50 of his 180.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
It's gotta be.
shortly here, and it's gonna be call.
because Frankie's fixing to mash on it. I think
Wow, and there's Robert with a
Nope.
discipline fold.
with the rock fold.
Yeah, pure
Yeah.
rock. Oh wow! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Basil's gonna and is that just a bet at 25 or is that all in?
It's just he just bet 25 there.
Again, Danny's
With
gonna
two pair.
call because
Just let a queen or a 10 pull there, so Basil will pick this pot up.
Mm-hmm. And they're both
And
calling
they just called him.
with the straight. Poor Basil, give him the 10.
But there is a flush on the board, so
Of course.
there's a royal flush on the board.
Shove Basil. Oh, there another quarter bet. He's really, I mean, a quarter bet in the 355, and
He's
they
quartered
both just.
himself to death.
Yep. I mean, a river shove there looks so strong.
But again, with that board, a river shove there probably gets called by one of those two guys.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Because he only had, at that point, $130 left. There,
Yeah.
He'd be lucky if he didn't
You
get called
got
by
the
both.
flush. Here's some money. But yep, Denny and Frankie are gonna chop up Mr. Basil's quarter bets there. Couldn't have been a worse turn card for him, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's two chop pots in a row from our dealer, Miss Lindsay, the quote unquote crusher. And then yeah, so Lindsay isn't in her crusher mood tonight. She just wants everybody to share money.
Well, there's just not enough money on the table for it to actually
Yeah.
cost somebody their house.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not as much fun to her, I guess.
No, yeah. I think that's exactly it. Here's Frankie with the
All
ace
I know is I
queen.
raised her better than that.
Yeah, I
people's
believe
dreams.
you, but I don't think she's a great listener. I'm sure
Not
you're
at all.
the first
She's
to,
stubborn.
to know about
She's
that.
hard-headed, yes.
I wonder where she gets that
Her mama.
Kitco is gonna call off the raise from Frankie, who raised with ace queen. So we'll be going heads up to the flop, $80 in the middle. See how this turns out. He's looking for a 9, though he doesn't know it. It's gonna be a pretty dry board. I think it'll be a bet from Frankie. I don't think Keikoa can continue. It's gonna be a fold and a nice little pot from Mr. Frankie. He's been slow and steady tonight. I don't think he's been put to much test. I saw a
Who,
big,
Frankie?
I saw a big one
No.
between him and Joni.
He wins one main event, and all of a sudden turns into a pro poker player, making the right laydowns and not gambling. Somebody go fill up his red solo cup so we can get Frankie back.
Oh yeah, that's what he said earlier. It was yeah, I'm not drunk enough to make that call. And the entire table instantly, bartender, drinks on 9.
Yeah, somebody go get Frankie a red solo cup.
I'm curious, what did he have? Joni raised to like 45 from like under the gun plus 1, and then he raised instantly to 90, and then he bet 100, he bet 300. I'm not sure what it was. She had queens, I believe.
Oh, no, that was another house. That was Queens versus Kings.
It might have been that. I don't
No, but that was Dennis and Mike. Mike doubled up. Mike
yeah, I saw that.
Mike got it all in for 335, and Dennis
Yeah.
had raised pre-flop. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Let's see that one.
pretty standard.
Here's a king queen versus king 3. Check on the jack 9 board. 5 coming out, giving no help to Mike.
3-ball, corner pocket. Nope.
And an 8. We'll see if Dennis even bets. I mean, there's really no reason for him to. Yeah, that
He
was
wins.
just.
Yeah, $5.
That,
Each
yeah,
had
that
5
was a
in it.
limp. Yeah, so that's just how it's gonna go. Nothing much.
The only way a 3 comes out there is if Basil's got the king queen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Basil's been running awfully tonight. That's another thing. Whenever I walked over to the table, Basil says, "You seen those Mikey? So sick." Of course, instantly. And I was like, yeah, I saw Basil not running too good tonight. And no dealer changes helped him either. It's just been
Right.
pure. It's the
Actually,
same
with
way.
Yvonne,
Yes.
he wants some hands with
Yeah,
you. He may
he
want
did.
her back.
Yep. Yvonne's
And-
a lovely dealer.
And we all know that it's not the dealer, but
No,
but
of
it-
course not. But you got.
but I mean, I never blame the dealer ever. So
Yeah, Chris, leave that one. I've been on the wrong end of Chris Carter here's tirades.
I've never had a tirade. Let's clarify that. I've never had a tirade.
Fair enough.
I have said deal. Never mind.
Yep.
But that's a term of endearment from me.
I know
That means
it.
I like you.
know it. I know it. Here we've
And
got.
there's a whole bunch of it up here. I love everybody.
He gives everybody a little endearment.
But like you and I've talked before, it's never about the money with me. It's always about the win, because I play absolutely perfect poker.
That's another great quote.
Yes, yeah. If I was in the heads up match instead of Daniel Negreanu with Polk, I'd be winning that right now.
Winning.
You know,
Just
so
swept him under the
please,
rug.
if you're on the internet, I was joking. I don't want to play either one of those millionaires, but
No.
actually I do. I would love to sit in a game like that.
Oh yeah, just for the.
But I'm kind of like Negreanu. I want to do it live. I don't want to do it online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
I think Negreanu in that match crushes him if they're live.
It's definitely an edge that
Yep.
Polk has over him in
And
Negreanu,
online.
over Negreanu
Yeah.
online, 100%. I mean, that's what he did for how many years? Just multi-tabling
Right.
heads-up matches, and not let alone just online tournaments and
Yep.
all that stuff, but specifically heads-up online matches was his specialty.
I checked it today, and I think Negreanu's down 700,000 with about 4,000 hands left
Oof.
out of the 25,000.
Yeah. Man, and whenever I heard that number, we just got another chop pot.
Yeah.
Literally just chops and chops and chops from
Telling you, if this was any more exciting a game tonight, my chair would literally catch on fire from the flames shooting out my rear end. I mean, we've had so many chop pots
Yes,
and so
yeah.
many just everybody folds, and then
Yep.
they all we have 9 callers, and
And
it's
then
been a whole
yeah.
it's
But yeah, that's such a difference, that online game. I myself, obviously I've gotten 110% of all my experience up here at this club specifically, and so and that can be a hindrance to me, definitely. I went out to Vegas one time and just got my clock cleaned because you go to Vegas and those people play as you were saying earlier, they're a lot more sure enough than social players up there in those rooms and stuff.
yeah. But here's the thing, and I tell especially fairly inexperienced players that go into Vegas. Everybody's somebody in Vegas, so go be somebody. Walk in there like you own the joint, and seriously, just walk in there like you're the baddest player on the planet, and you may be the worst player at the table. You'll know
Sure.
pretty quick. But anytime you go to Vegas, look around and you'll realize that everybody's somebody in Vegas, or at least they think they are. They get to live
Sure.
that dream.
Sure, and man, we've definitely got some personalities here at Kojak's. You've got your Basil, who's just larger than life, people like that. But up there, man, they're a dime a dozen. Like
Yeah.
I met so many interesting.
Let me
people.
correct. There is nobody like Basil in Las
That's
Vegas.
fair. That's very fair. I don't think you'll meet another person like Basil in your
There's a
life.
million me's there. There's
Sure.
not one.
There's not
I actually
one.
ran into Basil it's probably been 6 or 7 years ago. I'm walking through the Venetian. We'd gone there for, I want to say, the World Series and a deep stack. And coming down the escalator, I walk into Basil. I hadn't seen Basil at that time in a couple of years,
Oh wow.
And I was just like, you want to talk about a guy that stuck out in the room? And we sit there and talked about it. He was there for the deep stack in the World Series. And yeah.
He's
And
he's wearing more muted colors today than I think I ever see him in.
Well, that's how I picked him out. He was
Yeah.
wearing fluorescent green Superman,
You
everything
got-
walking
you
through.
know who it is.
Mhm.
If you know him. If you don't, then you said, "Who the hell let this man in to this place?"
But you know what about Basil? You won't find really when it comes to a poker player. You don't ever hear him complain when he loses too bad. I mean, he'll
It's
say
so sick.
it's so sick. That's
Yeah.
about it. But you don't hear him like
He's
you
not
know
going
dealing,
fits.
or
yeah.
how did you call that? You don't hear. He just takes it and poker is sick and goes on. He's got one of the best attitudes and
Yeah.
And he really does have one of the, as far as support for this place, he's the biggest supporter, bar none.
Bar none. And I remember back whenever I used to cage almost exclusively, and I would see a cast of characters come in, and then I see this man pierced to the gills with tattoos and completely blown out. I think he was in his blue Superman sort of get up, and I'm like, and I called a manager at the time over, Carla. I said, I think there's a guy up here. Can you do the interview? And she looks through the window, sees Basil, and says, "Let him in," and gives him the biggest hug, and he knows everybody in the club. And I said, "Who is this guy?" And then you grow to love him just immediately. Basil's.
Well, like I say, my
good
favorite time with Basil in here in the booth was the first time we brought him in, and Basil said, and I can't repeat what he said to the exact words, but something happened, and Basil goes, "Oh, shoot, dude," but he didn't say shoot, And Charlie's like, "Basil, you can't cuss on the air." F's for real? I laugh. I still laugh at that to this day. Oh my gosh,
That's one of our favorite clips.
We got open-ended with this one. We got an action flop going.
Oh, here you go.
We got a little action
cutters
flop
going on.
Top pairs. Yeah, top pairs. Good Lord.
Yeah,
I went to Stanton. Top pairs. Pair.
Robert's flopping a set. Joni's got a gutter. Pete's got top pair with a gutter as well, and Frankie's got bottom pair with just some decent odds. So yeah, he's gonna call.
Of course, 50. It's just 50.
Yeah, 50's gonna be calling around for sure. And once it gets to Joni, it's like a no-brainer. You've got such good odds. Ace not change. That's gonna scare some people, but it doesn't change much as far as
No.
percentages go. Frankie's of course drawn dead here. He doesn't have any options to improve.
But it's funny how people will walk away from that ace.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Robert won't. But
No. I mean, yeah.
Joni, I think Joni lays it down here. I don't
Probably,
think
but Pete's strong. Pete's got great draws. He's now.
No, his
Yeah,
gut shot 10 hurts him, I
Yeah.
guess.
top pair. Oh, so Robert leads out for 100.
Yeah.
We'll see if that's going to be enough for Pete to run away or enough to keep him in there.
I think a call here should scare Robert to death. I think a big bet. Oh, Joni called.
Joni's in
I
there.
think a big bet on the flop, no matter what comes, could scare Robert off completely.
There's the
And
9.
that's
So,
now you can't scare him off
No,
with dynamite.
he's in there. I wonder how much he bets here to see how much he can get. He's getting nothing from Joni.
I would bet 2.
Yeah,
2 and a quarter
two,
is a good.
150, even
I think if you bet anything less than 2 and a quarter, it gets pretty fishy.
it just
He
not
bets
100.
100, and I think everybody goes away. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm going away for 100.
Sure.
I'm like, yeah, that's a little fishy.
Just flopping top pair and then a run out like that. Yeah, that's a full fold.
Of course,
I mean,
yeah. Like I say, if he bets 225 or more, or he overbets the pot, now I think Pete starts thinking my jack's good.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
it would have been a great line for him to take. I mean, and Robert's done that a couple times where he
Mm-hmm.
just he does milking bets often,
Mm-hmm.
and they can be very deceiving.
Well, from what I've played with him before, like I say, when he does that right there, those small milking bets, and he gets paid off. When he doesn't have it's when he does that over the top. And if you can get him in the right rhythm, you can
Absolutely.
disrupt his stack pretty
and,
bad.
And it's if the same watering hole worked once, it's gonna work twice. If you can get him
Yeah.
stuck in that same
Well,
pattern, then you can really.
After doing
get
this
some.
for as long as I've done it, since we've been doing the live
Sure.
streams, you definitely pick up, or at least I have, and not that it helps me, but you definitely pick up patterns with, and I've told my kids when they were growing up and playing, and if you play online, you look for betting patterns. That's how you to pick up
It's
tells online.
communication.
Yeah. But you can get the same betting patterns here, just as
Absolutely.
easy.
Absolutely, and I've talked to people. A lot of my friends and family don't know too much about the poker world, and so I really put it as you communicate with your chips. You communicate that whenever I explain, you've only got at max 4 moves you can do in Hold'em at any given point. That each little thing you do really matters and really tells somebody what you have or what you don't, and my fiance has said, like, why. I've explained professionals versus regular, more social players and stuff like that. And
Well,
it's the argument is always, well, why don't you just always wait for the good cards? And then I have to explain,
Yep.
it's a tricking game, it's a
it's
bluffing game.
again going back to Brunson. Brunson said that, and it's been said more than once, that this is not a game of cards played with people. It's a game of people played with cards. And I used to play with a guy that it was funny. If he bet $200 exactly at you, 200, and I won't mention his name, but if he bets 200, he didn't have anything in his hand. But if he bet 195, 205, he had a big hand. But his make you go away bet, he's bluffing, was 200 exactly, and literally made all of us that knew this tell, and there was 4 or 5 of us, made a killing for a decade off of him because it was that one tell. I mean, I played with another guy. Every time he got a big hand, the vein in his neck would start bouncing so bad you could see it. And it's not bluffing. You knew he had a monster where that vein was bouncing. He just lay it down. And those are the kinds of things that I think the sure enough players start looking for.
Absolutely.
The way somebody chews some gum. Or the funniest thing that cracks me up is the people that complain the most about a mask are poker players. We should be the first ones to want to put them on.
That's a funny observation because it tells the story of any little bit of information you can pick up is incredibly valuable.
And with all of us, we're I'm not wearing that silly mask. That we should be the first ones to put it on,
right?
And
give you a little bit more protection.
So it just I found that humorous since the whole whatever you want to call this pandemic thing started.
Sure.
That was the funniest thing to me is this whole group of people. You heard people complaining in Vegas about the partitions and the mat. I was like, we're poker players. You see guys walking in with hoodies around their face, and you look at Lane Flack and Unabomber. You can't even see his whole face. And you would think it wouldn't be that big a deal to
hide a little bit.
Yeah.
More. And it is interesting because my fiance asked me that same question of what's with all the sunglasses and the hoodies and the
right.
It's the same thing. You gotta protect yourself, and it's good to know your tells. I remember one of the first ever times I sat down to play cash. I got involved in a really big hand, and I had I think it was trips. I had hit on the turn, and so I lead out for, it was a big pot already, so I lead out for like 235 or something like that, and he's thinking it over, and eventually folds, and I'm like, okay, I'm wondering what could I have done differently as I'm pulling in the chips, and I realized my hand that was shuffling my chips was going at 80 miles an hour, like just blasting away, and I as I stopped, I was just manically, please call,
Yep, and you get faster because that's an involuntary response that you can't control, and like I say, the sure enough players look for those kinds of things. And there's a player that I actually saw him here tonight. We're playing. It's been several months ago, but I called him with King High to like an $800 bet. And I didn't know he didn't even have an ace in his hand. There was an ace on the board. I had a King High, King Queen in my hand, and he shoves 6 or 7, 800 out there, and he just stiffens up like a board, and he's like staring at my soul, and I'm just like, okay, and I worked through the hand because it was one of those raise pre-flop, check, river 800. That doesn't make any sense.
Does not make a whole lot of sense.
And when I called him,
story does not add up.
The look on his face of pure horror, and he asked me afterwards. We were walking out of the parking lot. He's like, "How did you call that?" I said, "I can own your house with the tails you have." What are my tails? I said, "I will never tell you."
I'm lucky enough to where I've a lot of people. I tend to meet pretty much everybody who comes into the room, and so whenever I sit down on a table, it's rare. It's kind of a zebra and a field of deer, and so I get a lot of people who are happy to communicate things I can be better on, and the little tells that I give off, and so I've had a lot of help in that, and that helps so much because knowing that is such an edge in your own game.
Well, and that being said, this guy and I weren't necessarily friends.
Sure.
And I don't mind. None of the guys that play here mind helping younger or inexperienced players. Like that's how you move to the next level.
Exactly.
But if you spot a guy's tail, and it's just like the movie Rounders. You spot a guy's tail, you let him go broke. Like one of mine. I mean, everybody knows that. I had to catch mine a few years back because I dip. And when I made a big bet out there, I'd automatically turn around and grab my spit cup when I had a big hand spit in that cup.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I was bluffing and make a big bet, I wouldn't even look at that cup. And once I figured out, and nobody told me, I just figured out after losing thousands of dollars.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes.
That's what it was.
If you're in a dog-eat-dog world, people are going to go for your
And
neck.
I had the same chip shuffle that you did too.
Yes.
I had to.
That one I tried to nip in the bud almost instantly.
Well, and once you become self-aware of those things,
and then you can start playing with it. You can, say you are bluffing, then you can reach for that cup and try and, there's a lot.
Well,
of things you can
it's
do
funny
with
because
that.
you're talking about, the old saying is strong is weak and weak is strong.
Sure.
And when you get to the sure enough players, strong is weak is strong is weak. You start getting all this,
Yeah,
you get all these other
exactly.
signals
It's
going.
a
And,
bluffing game, man.
and it's so, you have to be able to figure out, well, when you play with the guys that are the sure enough players, you just have to be able to outplay them.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. Here we've got Robert limping with ace king, and then we got 8-5, 8-7, ace 10, jack 5. It's going to come 6-5 deuce on the flop, so a couple players going to flop a 5. But the 8-7 with the open ended has a pretty decent shot at this pot,
yeah,
and he's going to lead out for
20.
20.
Yeah.
He's going to go fold. Mike folds. Mike folds with his jack 5. And Dennis is going to get in there with his pair.
Oh, now he forgets the open-ended.
But now Frankie hit a pair. So
Yeah.
we've got ourselves a little pot here.
Well, I guess they're both open-ended now. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Did he bet a nickel, really? Okay, he bet 10.
Okay.
Oh, Frankie bets 35. Okay,
Frankie
that's what it
bet
was. I just
35.
saw him throw a nickel out there. I
Yep.
said, Dennis just bet a nickel.
No, Frankie bet
That can be used as a
35.
tell also, just
Oh,
so you know.
100%.
Look at that, they get there.
And there's another chop pot. Can we get a record for the night? I think that's at least the 5th that I've seen just in my 20 minutes that I've been in here
Absolutely.
right now. Ridiculous. How many chop pots can we get? I mean, Lindsay on her down dealt at least 4. That's
Yeah.
crazy. In 30 minutes, it's hard to deal one chop pot sometimes.
And
that makes it to the
Yeah.
river and
Absolutely.
It's,
And going back to talking about the social players and the sure enough, I encourage any player that wants to get better. You can talk to any player it doesn't matter if you think they're better than you or they play. Most everybody around here, we play poker. We love to talk about poker. We'll sit around and the way you get better is talking to players that play the higher levels, and because in theory the skill level, the more money you play for, the higher your skill is supposed to be.
Absolutely.
That's not necessarily the case here. Well, we do have some chicken hawks here that'll try to hit and I call them that because they try to hit the smaller games. But what people don't understand is if you play 6 days a week and you make $400 a day, that's $2,400 a week.
Nice profit.
Yeah, I mean you're talking about $10,000 a month cash, just making $400 a day. So, and that can be done very, very easily at Kojak.
Absolutely.
You can very easily make $400 a
If
day.
It's what I realized is really tightening up your pre-flop play is everything.
Well, and it's not even necessarily tightening up your pre-flop; it's playing in position. And it's
and
not making
here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Robert limped ace king whenever he was under the gun, and now that he picked up ace king again, he's gonna 3-bet onto Frankie's initial raise, and he's gonna flip it over.
Sure.
Because why not? Let people know you're not messing around.
and something that like we're talking about the 1-3 game, you'd see people make it 7x, 8x, 9x. Anytime you get over 5x, you go from let's say your range is 2.5x to 5x.
Sure.
Anytime you get over 5x, your hand has to win somewhere over like 63% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at the 2.5%, your pocket aces only have to win 17% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you take it to that, to that 60% of the time threshold. Pocket aces aren't nearly as strong as you think they are
No.
because you've put so much pressure on that hand to have to win to be profitable in the long run, and that's what you don't get in the smaller games.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's a pair. And speaking of pairs,
I mean, you look at we're 5 on the button and they're raising at 7x, and then you wonder why queens get popped. But just like that hand with Basil earlier, where he got his aces cracked, he limped with 5 people in the pot. It would have been okay to put a 4 or 5x out there.
and then you can see here with Dennis raising with the queens, he doesn't get any callers. And even Robert, more snug player, had ace jack. He might have called it $20. He might have
but-
called a quarter.
Right. If he'd have made that 3x or 4x right there, there's an old video out by Howard Lederer, and it's for tournament poker, and it's got the perfect pre-flop play. At the time, that's what they talked about. But he talks about, 4x you don't want to call, 3x you do want to call, that kind of thing. And whether that's right or not, it still depends on the table. But
Yes.
I agree with you there. If he makes that 3x, he probably gets that queen jack to call. You make it 7x. And your queens, the only thing that's going to call you with a 7x bet is something that can beat you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. And the like as you said, the game varying matters a lot. And at 5 on the button, your standard opening can change in 30 minutes.
Yep.
With the right player, somebody sits down with a big
Well,
stack.
it's like the 25 on the button. You watch that, and it is so rare for you to see anything above a 4x.
Way
So rare.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just, guys know that.
I'm not calling 200
No.
from an open under the gun raise.
And I will say the difference too, when you get to that level versus this, the people that play the 5 on the button or lower, they still think of those little round things as money. That's just what you keep score with. You get to the others, we buy in for 1,000. Well, it's no longer your chips.
Yeah.
At that point, they're
Put
no
it on
longer
the
yours.
table.
It belongs to the house. But if you have some at the end of the night, lucky enough to have some at the end of the night, you get some money back for those.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
when you learn to use those chips, it's just something you keep score with.
They're
when-
Gaddy's tokens. That's the way
Yeah.
I put it. They're Gaddy's tokens.
Yeah, fun coupons.
Absolutely.
So if you think that way, then when somebody bets one of those light blue ones at you, that's just a light blue one. You're just keeping score.
And you
Now,
can-
granted, there's a lot more to that, but
Sure,
in simple
sure.
form,
Yeah, and that's I think a big, playing in your in your what's the word, your money range. You know what you are
play
willing
within
to-
your comfort level.
Absolutely, that's such a
Because the second those chips turn into money, it changes your game.
And if you're scared to not call a raise or play around with your chips because you can't afford it, it's
Yep.
a wrong game for you.
Absolutely.
Which
it
is why I want a 1-3 table to be popping up regularly. That's something.
I want a 1-3 deuce to 7
oh Lord.
triple draw.
Razz a little bit maybe.
Deuce to 7 triple draw. Just because I don't want to play the big game on the
yeah,
triple
more
draw.
than once or twice a month, and it gets expensive, man. King Queen High is going to be the best on this one. We'll see if any bets are going to be able to steal it away.
Year before last, I got to play in the deuce to 7 triple draw at the
Yeah.
World Series of Poker.
Wow.
And just had a blast. I actually made it like 13 hours in the tournament and fixing to go into day 2 type thing before I got busted. Of
course.
Deck. And so we came back here and we've played it here a few times, and I absolutely love that game. It's so much fun, and like I say, the reason I brought that game up is because if you do play at Kojaks, if you can find enough people to play it, they'll spread it.
We'll spread it. Whatever you got a hankering to play, we will find a dealer who can deal it and a table for you.
I mean, I played $10 a hand goldfish the other day. I mean,
We even got gin cards set up. Truthfully,
we do.
So, anything
I
you
love our
want.
domino tables we have set
they're
up,
lovely.
but they're loud.
They are incredibly loud, but that's the point, man. Everybody's got to hear the slam whenever you got a good one.
But you can't slam that; you'll break the glass.
yeah, that's fair enough. Is Joni? I think I saw a black out there. Somebody must have made some change for her.
Yeah, I think so.
She's calling with the Queen Jack. Robert's gonna get in there with 7-5. Okay, mixing it up a little bit for him. And Frankie's gonna get in there with Jack 8. Is he raising? Raising on up to $20. I think Joni will be happy to come along with Queen Jack. We'll see if Robert's gonna continue with his 7-5. He is. We're gonna go to a flop with some interesting hands here. Frankie is looking not too good. Let's see if Joni is tricky enough to check her pair.
Well, that ace will slow her down for sure.
Yeah. And no bet from Frankie, so she's probably gonna lead out here on the turn and see how good her pair is. Quarter out there. And now Robert's open-ended, so she took a good line with that check there. That's gonna get her a little bit more value. Say he doesn't.
Robert's gut shotted, didn't he? Was he? Yeah, he's gut shotted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 7-5.
Yeah, he needed that 6 and could not make it there. Oh wow! So Joni's gonna check her option, and it's gonna leave Robert the opportunity to bluff. And now she's thinking, was he sitting there with the ace the whole time, or even just a 3?
She lays it down.
Wow, great play by Robert. He
That was an attack of her stack.
absolutely.
That's exactly what that was.
And he shows it. He shows it. And Joni's got a smile, even though she's wishing it.
Yeah, even though she's saying some other things in her head. Yeah.
Absolutely. But a great play by Robert. It was a, it's rare for him to say get out of line, but it was a great position play, is what that was. Great little hand for him.
Yeah, well, like I say, it was very much position, and he's also going after her stack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's got what $260. He bet what 75 at her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's that. You got to have at least an ace to call there. Some more dead hands coming out. But Joni's still ain't afraid. She's going to call with that King 8. Mike's in there with 6-4 off. Basil's got an ace, so he's calling. Danny's got 3 deuce, and he's calling.
Yeah, I haven't even been calling these hands. I've just been letting them come up on the screen, and I'd much rather sit here and talk to you about poker than what I'm seeing on the screen until something happens.
We got Pete raising 10-7 off, $30.
Well, after everybody limps in like that, I would get rid of some folks too.
Absolutely. I mean, oh wow, 6-4 is calling the $30.
Well, of course, it's 6-4.
I mean, you got a point. You have a solid point there. So we're gonna go heads up. And we'll
That's
see.
a man after Charlie's heart right there.
Yeah, it is. Gotta see the flop, and you're not gonna like it whenever you're hitting bottom pair and they've got top. Is gonna go check, or Pete's gonna go ahead and bet, and that'll almost look 100% be a fold from Mike unless he's trying to get squirrely. Oh, he's trying to get some value here with a $35-$40.
35, yeah.
And yep, that'll be Mike. Shoot away.
And that's the thing. If you're going to play a hand like that and then you hit a piece of the board, you got to be prepared to take it to the end.
Absolutely, and
And you just hope your opponent doesn't hit the board that hard.
absolutely, yeah. With some great some well placed out plays, you can.
Because there's no logic in him raising 35 with 10-7 to begin with.
Sure.
So my 4 should be good right there.
Yeah, but here at Kojak's, you just never know. You just never know.
I'm pretty sure if we drug tested at Kojak's, there's a whole bunch of players on crack.
I mean, we got oil field workers aplenty, so
No, it ain't the oil field. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's
something else.
yes. I'm just some of these guys I've watched play with. I'm just like, yeah, he needs to be drug tested.
And Joni's gonna limp in with the king queen. Lots of limps. I mean, she is under the gun, so you want to see if you can get a cheap one. But Danny's gonna come and.
Oh, Frankie's
raise it to
definitely.
20.
He may be raising.
Yeah, it's a good chance.
I would like a raise here. He did. Yep.
Yep.
Made it 65.
70 up.
Is it 70 or 65? I can't tell.
We'll see in a moment.
70.
And then.
Yeah, I couldn't see that fourth one laying in there. It looked like 3 chips coming.
Mm-hmm. But Pete's gonna get out of the way. Keikoa's gonna get out of the way. Joni's gonna call it off. She is short.
See,
stack.
Joni needs to put her stack in right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
If she's
absolutely.
going to, if she puts her stack in, Denny can't call.
Nope. And we'll see if he hits anything. Jack 7-4 is gonna give no help to anybody. Denny's still ahead.
Yeah,
We'll see
Frankie
if
bets
Frankie's
it's over. Yep, there you go.
Mm-hmm. And wow, big bet. It's at a 1 1/4, 125 coming around the table. Joni can't continue anymore, and Denny
Yeah.
can't either. Nice little pot for Frankie. Ace Queen.
Yeah.
Not the best hand there, but
Well,
best
it's the
player.
best, the most aggressive, and that's what you see Well, Frankie plays in the big games.
Yep,
You know, and
absolutely.
that's why you saw Billy early in the night when Billy sat down. The aggression won him the pots versus the hand.
Mm-hmm.
These guys understand that it's a game of people played with cards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These people are just limping, hoping to see a flop and hoping to hit.
Yeah, they get their lottery tickets and let's scratch it off, and we might hit a winner. You know, like I say, I didn't like Joni's call there pre-flop. I wanted to put her stack in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, she's a dog, but the play there is to, if you're going to call the
Yeah.
5 and you're going to be facing a raise, then
I mean,
you
she
have
has
to-
$200. You just put $35 of your stack in.
Mhm.
It just you put over 10% of your stack in the pot.
You,
Because anytime you get 10% of your stack in the pot, it takes 2 pot-sized bets to get your whole stack in there.
Mhm.
That's all it takes. So,
Mhm.
you know, okay, Cole wakes up with queens,
oh, here we go.
and Denny has pocket threes. Well, threes have been big hand crusher tonight. Let's see what happens.
65 coming out. Looks like it might just fold around unless Denny's going to see how well those pocket threes are going to fare. He's thinking. He is going to call, so we're going to go to a flop here. 10, 6, and 7, 4, who limped the 15.
Frankie called. Did Frankie call that?
I
He
think,
sure did.
I think he raised to 15 with 7, 4, and then
Then folded.
and
Okay.
then Keikoa
Okay.
raised, and he said, "Okay, maybe not the best hand."
Where's the
to
3?
open
Come
with."
on, where's the 3? No 3.
No 3. So it's gonna be.
But Frankie would have called a 7.
We'll see if Keikoa plays this deceptively to see if he can get some more money out of it.
I think too many hearts. He has to bet it.
Yeah.
No matter what, he has to come out betting. I like his $60 bet.
Yeah, down betting the flop to induce some less likely hands, maybe an open.
You're still making the hearts draw a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But
I think Denny goes way out.
yeah,
He just ran into the wrong player.
yeah, you've got it. He's set mine in there to hopefully take a big one. Like you said, threes have been decimating stacks tonight, so
Yeah, so
another little $100 profit for Mr. Keikoa. Here's a look at the chip counts again. Robert doing very well. Pete has stayed at that 2.2 for a long time, and so he's just waiting for good hands. At this
Yep.
point, he's made some decent money. No reason to get out of line. and
well,
start
he's
doing some
yeah, he's
crazy
behind the
stuff.
log, but he starts off behind the log.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. So now that he's made up for that in any degree.
It's funny. I've always said this with guys like Robert and ladies like Joni. People usually just give them their money.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I watched it. I played with Joni several times. You know, of course over the years, but this past week in the series,
Mhm.
and I would sit there and watch people literally just give Joni their money,
Mhm.
and it just puzzled me. I'm like, if she's in the pot, she's got something fairly strong, or a strong
Absolutely.
draw, or
strong draw.
you know. But they would just give her, and then she'd roll over her hand, and I'm like, why are you in the pot with that hand, Joni?
Mhm.
You know, because I
She
drugged the
said, "Well, I
pot.
was suited."
Yeah, I drugged the pot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Ooh.
just fascinates me.
Jack 10, 9, 8, all the diamonds in this one.
Yeah, straight flush in their hands.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course, it comes all clubs.
all clubs.
Welcome to Kojak's dealing.
Mhm. Mike's got a 9 of clubs, so he's got the most claim to the pot. And Frankie's got a pair. He's gonna lead out for 20. And wow, Mike folded his club draw.
Frankie wins $10.
Mhm. Just a little bit of aggression on a club board. You don't have to have a club to take a pot down in one of those.
Wow. And just
Snug play. I mean, I would have loved to see a turn with that 9. And yeah, of course, you can always be just drawn dead, but you know, just seeing how the play continues can really benefit sometimes. Jack 9 for Basil, close to his hand,
yeah, close.
not close enough. 9-8's going in the muck,
Frankie with queens.
and this
Let's see what his raise is.
Yeah, this is where aggressive play can really pay off. If people can see you raising plenty, knowing that it's not always going to be
I think
aces,
he made it
kings,
30.
queens.
Yeah, 6x.
So we'll see if he gets any caller, not a 1.
Not a 1. Yeah.
And there weren't too many hands that could call. He's
No.
going to go ahead and show it off. Show. I'm not always messing around. Even though we did see him open with 7-4 of diamonds. Not
Very
too
true.
long ago.
But he didn't get to show that.
No.
You know.
I think we're headed to the last 30 minutes of our live stream here.
Yeah, we're at 26 minutes, it looks like.
There you go.
26 long, grueling.
And you know, it's I don't think we have the lineup that we typically have. A lot of, like as we said, a lot
Yeah.
of our regulars are out in Houston.
But I will say this, that,
tournament.
you know, it's been fairly slow, but when the action starts, the action does get pretty rapid.
Absolutely.
But it's been slow for a lot of it, and it's just
A lot of chop pot. You know,
a
whenever
lot of chop pots,
whenever you
a lot of no-brainer pots,
yeah
some
yeah.
pots that played themselves.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll see.
And then all of a sudden they pull it through a loop and they open with 7-4 of diamonds.
Yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
okay, you're
Yeah.
making my head short circuit.
Mm-hmm. Danny's gonna open with pocket nines. Frankie's gonna come along with king 10. We're gonna see if anybody else has any sort of
Ace Queen's
cover.
definitely calling.
Absolutely. Would have loved a 3-bet, but
Yeah, I would have liked a raise there in
and
position.
you don't have to make it much to tell your right story. But it's gonna come ace
Hit it.
8-7.
Hit his ace. In position.
So that's whenever that raise pre where Denny absolutely calls would have
Mhm.
definitely got you some
Correct.
extra dollars in there.
He lost a lot of value
Mm-hmm.
by not raising pre-flop with that.
And Denny's gonna.
But he's a little short stack too.
That's
You
true.
know, so-
That's true.
But it still don't make it right.
Then he's gonna lead out for 60, and Mike's just letting him hang himself. He's just gonna keep on calling, see if Denny's gonna continue. Deuce on the river, gonna be no help to Denny. His pocket nines are no good. Check, check. It's gonna be 135 going to Mike.
That brings up the stack a little bit.
Just a bit. Not never hurts. For sure. We've got Joni and Basil super short stacked.
How many people bought tip chips tonight? I was looking around the table.
A good amount. I think one of the players had got about 40. That's
Okay.
that's something that's always helpful.
Yeah.
So whenever one player
That's the
decides
dark
to-
blue chips you see on the table.
Yes, that's what our dealers accept as tips, because we can't take any of the actual playing chips off of the table. But whenever one player decides to go ahead and get plenty for the whole
Mm-hmm.
table, and it almost always goes directly into your stack, you know,
Yeah.
and it's so helpful for dealers. So there's actual opportunities to
And you know,
tip.
it's funny. I'm one of the few players. I don't buy the tip chips. I mean, I tip at the end of the night
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like we're a team. If I win, we win. You know, if I lose, we lose.
Sure,
No, it's not.
sure.
It just actually, anytime I've ever bought the tip chips, I just get smashed for some reason. So
Mm-hmm.
I will buy them at the table and throw them from somebody and throw them
Sure.
across. But yeah, I typically don't buy them early.
Mm-hmm.
But when I win big, everybody wins big, so it works out pretty well.
I think Mike opened up pre-flop with the pocket eights, and then he's got a couple callers. Robert right behind him with sevens. Basil's got ace 10 and flops top pair, and king jack for Frankie. He's probably going to get out of the way of. Oh wow! So Robert let out with his pocket sevens,
Mm-hmm.
$50. Basil's obviously calling, and
Basil needs to ship it. He's only got $50 left. Put it all in
Lord.
right now.
and yep, that'll come out, and now it probably scares Robert away.
Right, he cost himself, you know, if he boosters all in
Yeah.
on the 10,
Another player would probably say, we're
yeah.
$50 more. What's $50? Let's just call it off. But Robert's gonna get out of the way. Nice little pot for Basil, who was, as we said, short stack. So we're gonna see if he can make any profit in this last 20 or so minutes of the live stream. Here's another look at the stacks. As we said before, Robert and Pete are doing quite well. Denny, I think, bought in for 15 and is at 15. Probably the same for Frankie. The rest of the players are just a little bit short stack, probably a little negative for the night. We've got Pete picking up pocket jacks. We'll see how much he raises to see how much he can extract. Nice raise, just 20. Anybody who's got a decent hand has enough odds to call. Robert's going to get in there with 7-4 suited. Basil's in there with 5-4 suited. And Denny's got those connectors as well. Sadly for them, everybody's holding each other's outs. So we're going to a flop where jacks are a huge lead, nearly 60% to win this pot.
They're gonna lose.
10 coming out for Frankie, so he did flop a pair, and Basil's got the flush draw. So Pete's gonna have to bet decent size here to try and shoo away any potential
65.
drawers.
That's a good number. 65. He bets 40.
40. So he's
It's not bad.
it's not the worst, and Basil, who is short stacked, maybe not calling wouldn't be the best option, but he's gonna chase that flush draw, see if he can get there.
He's a coin toss situation. I mean, you know, basically.
And the turn's gonna come out 7 of hearts, so no help
No
to
help.
Basil. So we'll see if he's gonna keep on coming. Yeah. Oh, check. He leaves
Jack.
the opportunity.
Oh, and he makes money.
Oh,
Basil
he
should
makes
get
a
paid
lot
right
of
here.
money. Oh, and he's checking for a trap.
That was the Yahtzee card.
I wonder if Pete calls anything.
Nope.
Did Basil check?
Basil
Wow.
did check.
Wow, that's surprising. I mean, if you're looking for the flush,
Yeah, you got to think it's good the whole way.
absolutely. And
Wow.
then Pete has to throw down his cards in disgust after he just river trips. But he knew. I wonder if he calls anything that Basil bets out there. I mean, if he had them on that flush draw
Yeah.
specifically, because no matter how
Look at that
awesome
though. Basil, little come up there.
little come up for sure.
What are you buying for 7?
7. So,
So, yeah.
as I said, well, he's won the past 2 pots. We'll see if he can win anything else. But you know, whenever that flush comes out on the board, even if it does trip you up, if you're putting him on that, you've got to stick to it.
He's 1 double away from being a winner.
We do have, as we said before, we've got 2 other tables going right now. One of which is a round of each, 5 on the button. I believe it's full,
There's one. No, it just filled. Actually, it filled back up.
so it's filled right now.
And
but
it
get
is
yourself
getting
on the
big.
list.
The round of each.
Yes.
The round of each is getting quite deep.
There's
so
some crazy action on that table right now.
So if you're interested, get yourself on the list. Call us up here at Kojak's, and we'll get you on the list, and hopefully you can get a seat before the night ends. But other than that, we also do have another 5 on the button, no limit hold'em table that is not the live stream. So if you're interested in just hold'em, we're offering it tonight as well. Both Pete and Denny flop an ace there. It's gonna go check all the way around. Now it's gonna be back on Pete. We'll see if he leads out. Nice little bet, $15, trying to get anybody who's got anything to call. 5-4 from Basil's gonna call. He is gutted. He's got a 3 to hit the nuts on the river. It's gonna be no good for him though. Pete's got the best hand with ace 10, check, and Danny's gonna check his option as well. And it's gonna be a nice little $50 profit for Mr. Pete.
He just got back the 50 he gave up in that last hand
Yeah.
with his 7 jacks.
Yep. As we said before, we've only got a few minutes left, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and so
Yeah, about 20.
if you're interested in ever playing one of our live streams, please let us know. The list starts typically on
Sunday, doesn't it?
well, it depends on the week, because depending on which game that we open,
Yeah.
because typically we like to flip-flop between our bigger game, the $10 round of each, and the 5 on the button. So if you're ever interested, please let us know, and we will get you on the list as soon as possible. As you saw tonight, there are times whenever players leave or get busted and a seat opens up, and if you're first on the list, you can get a seat into this game. Just let us know, and we'll get you on that list. Joey's going to be calling with ace-9 off. On to Basil with 8-4 suited. He's going to lay it down, and
Yeah, we ought to live stream a couple times a week.
it's definitely been something that players have mentioned. I think the idea is to try and keep it a little bit of we don't want to overload too much on
But
the
maybe
live
do the
stream.
cash game and then do one of our bigger tournaments.
Mhm.
Live stream the tournament. And we could actually probably do it on the Saturday deep stack,
Mhm.
do that final table, and then start the live stream, because it's usually over by 8 o'clock.
Yeah, typically. We have one thing that Charlie has mentioned, our other assistant manager, is maybe running a decent sized tournament on the 3rd to 4th week of every month.
Mhm.
Running a nice something, a high roller or such. It's at least once a month, to try and promote good tourney play that isn't one of our main events or mini mains every few months, you know.
Yeah. Go away, Crusher.
I have to wait till the hand's over. I'm trying to.
We've got Frankie leading out with just a pair of sixes. As we've said before, the aggression from Frankie can really lead to pots that he's winning. Pete is not buying it. He's got ace 10. So we'll see if he can improve on the river, and he does not. Frankie's still got just a pair of sixes. He's going to lead out. Pete's got ace high again. It's proved to be profitable for him to call here, as our Crusher, who's in the booth right now, had dealt out about 4 chopped pots in her down back there. So he might be thinking this is another chop, or maybe my ace high is good.
I switched to a be nice move this time.
A raise here would win the whole pot.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely. And he's thinking it over. He's thinking it over. And a fold.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Love y'all.
Good night, Miss Lindsay.
Don't say goodnight. I'm here till close.
Oh, sorry. Nice little pot for Frankie. We'll probably, after this, of course, as we've said before, the game does not end once the live stream is over. These guys will continue to play and typically change tables, as not a lot of our players enjoy the structure of our RFID card reading table. We've been looking into changing tables, maybe getting a new one. So
Yeah, that's what Gwen was saying earlier, was bigger table, change the structure of the table.
absolutely.
Move the readers around a little bit.
And it's a very nice table, but it's just I think a lot of it has to do with those guardrails. They're a little high, just a touch high, and kind of lead to some awkward hand positions whenever you're getting to the thick of it. We've got seven players in this flop.
Yeah,
Lots of
does somebody have a
percentages
3?
running
That's all I care about now.
Yeah. Jody's gonna flop the best of it with ace jack, so she's got 2 pair, best kicker.
She should take it down. I don't see anybody calling
Most
here.
likely. Definitely not Keikoa with the good old 8-5.
Yeah.
So a nice little profit. She actually overbet the flop there, or the pot rather. So she's making some of her money back. Her and Basil are trying to climb out of the hole they've dug themselves here at the very end of this live stream session. But as we said before, this table's going to be going on after, so she's got
And that's
all night to dig herself out.
such a horrible feeling too. When you're sitting there and you're trying to dig and trying to, you've been digging a hole all night, now you're trying to climb out.
Mm-hmm.
You pick up a $35 pot and you're like, why couldn't that have been $300? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting there, you're like, I'm stuck here till close.
Yeah.
Just to get my money back.
Just to be even, maybe get even.
There have been nights in my life where even was a huge win.
Huge win, my lord.
It's like, well, looks like the Crusher gets to eat this week. I got the grocery money back.
Get some fuel for it.
Yeah.
Frankie's gonna raise it with Jack 6, and Mike's gonna call it off with Jack 10. 10, so that's gonna be tough for him to get Mike off of this, I imagine.
It's going to be hard, but did he pick
Is that
up a
all
flush draw?
clubs?
I can't tell if it's all clubs or, yeah, it's
think
all
that-
clubs. Frankie has a jack of clubs, doesn't he?
He's got 2 spades. I cannot tell between the clubs and spades on this thing sometimes.
Sometimes they get kind of blurred in that corner.
Mhm. But
I think he's got one of each, doesn't he? No, that's 2 spades.
So Frankie's going to lead out for 35, continuing to tell the story that he's got a decent hand, but Mike's going to call him off with the 10. Mike's checking again. We'll see if Frankie bets again. He is 75. Now at this point, he's basically got to bet him out. That
Yeah.
he's got to show a lot of strength here to even have a shot at getting him out. This $75 bet might do the trick. I just hope he doesn't call and then hits. If Frankie hits a jack, then that's going to be the worst thing for him, and because he's going to now think I've got top pair and this guy does not have a queen. We're going to have to.
Did you see what Frankie just did when
I
he made
did.
that bet? He picks up 1 card at a time. Well, if I'm sitting across the table, I'm thinking he's flush drawing at me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he may still have a queen, but that right there was a little bit of a tell. And I'm not giving away Frankie's secrets. I'm just saying
No.
that right there in that particular hand would have made me think he missed and flush drawed.
Interesting. And now, but Mike did lay it down, and Frankie took a nice little pot.
And instead of just calling, come back over the top of him to see what happens at that point. You know,
And
you don't have to come back over big.
exactly what I was gonna say. I think that's something that I've been learning to do is
Uh-oh.
you don't have to say right here. Basil just raising to 15 with the ace.
But
king. It's the same
2x.
story. Yes,
3x,
so
yeah.
you don't have to. You don't have to make it $30, $35 to try and say I've got ace king.
Well, I'd say when you get to that 7x,
Yes.
yeah, ace king gets pretty horrible pretty quick.
Absolutely. But a nice little $15 raise, and now he gets 4-bet by Frankie,
Which
who
is what
has
you want.
9. Absolutely. And now you can call off and know that and be a little comfortable.
Now he needs to come back over the top of Frankie.
That
Now's
would've
when you
been-
come back over
that
the top
would've
of
been
him.
a great 4-bet. But it's going to come Jack 10. It's going to be Denny who kind of snuck in this pot.
Open ended for Frankie.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to bet 50. Basil might just have to get out of the way. But he's still got 2 overs. We'll see. We'll see if that
2 overs but no clubs.
no club. That's what I was about to say. Is
And he's gut shotting.
it's tough to continue. Of course, he doesn't know that Denny's got one of his outs in his hands.
And
so-
Frankie's got one of his outs in his hand, so
Mhm. So he's drawing really thin at that.
it's funny how some people can't get away from ace king. You know,
It's a pretty hand, even offsuit. You know, you look down at ace king and you think, I've got to hit a pair.
and a cornucopia
I've still got overs.
looks good, but
6.
hardly ever wins.
Absolutely. It's pocket deuces will beat you.
You've heard me say that since you've known me.
Mhm.
Look at that, king on the river, and Frankie gets there.
Wow. And now Basil's got the ace king. Did he? Okay, I thought he was going to shove, but just a bet of 50.
Yeah.
Denny doesn't have much claim to the pot anymore, so he's out of there. Is Frankie going to raise here?
I think Frankie just calls him. Oh, he did raise to 200. Wow.
That's a great raise. Now Basil's almost forced into a call now that he's hit top pair, but there's a lot of scare cards out there.
Yeah, there's a straight on the board,
Mhm.
and Frankie came the whole way.
And there's, he could just have Jack 10, King 10, King Jack.
To
'Cause he
catch that card right there, I mean, it's a little disguised, but Basil's good enough to get away from this, I think. But he's short stacked, so he may be pressing.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, he laid it down. I think he's going to lay it down.
Yeah, just so
Looks
sick.
like he's going to.
So sick. Why'd you do that to me? Josh, yeah. Why'd you do that to me, Josh? That's so sick. And
Yeah,
fold.
good lay down.
Yeah, good lay down. A lot of people would have absolutely been
Mhm.
married to that king.
But like I say, Basil's a good enough player. He can get away from that.
I don't think that I would have been. And once I hit that king on the river, I'm probably going all, especially short stacked like that, I probably shoved back.
But again, like I say, being a disciplined lay down like that,
Mhm.
because if he does go all in right there, which Frankie put him all in basically,
Yeah.
the only thing that's going to do that is something that can beat you.
Yep.
And all you can really beat with that hand is a stone cold bluff. I mean, 2 pair beats you right there.
Mm-hmm.
That squirrely 6-3 got in there. You know,
Even, pocket sixes on the turn, or,
Mhm.
there's a multitude of hands that beat you there. Ace king is not strong at all.
no, it was real weak when that king
Just
hit.
because you improve, and Basil was looking for that queen. And
But it
then
also
hits the
goes. It
king.
also goes back to when Frankie makes it 40. If
Mm.
Basil comes over the top right there and 4-bets him at that point,
Complete fold, especially with
Yep.
Basil's image.
Yep.
I mean, there's no way Frankie calls. So he could have had
Mm-hmm.
just Dennis in there, or Denny rather, and then Denny absolutely is calling and calling,
Mhm.
and Basil gets there on the river.
and Basil wins the pot.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, it's easy to sit an armchair quarterback, but it also you
Oh,
can see
100%.
you can actually see the mistakes that have been made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you're catching good cards and you're running bad, and then you start making mistakes, it compounds everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, just the way, like I say, Basil's been playing good cards tonight. I think he's down and he's starting to make some mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think normally Basil comes back over the top.
I believe you. Yeah, Basil would on an ace king like that. Right here, we had a good couple of hands. 3 jacks in people's hands and pocket 8s for Denny. I think he opened couple callers, and then Mike's gonna flop an ace and lead out and take it down. There was a pretty dry board, sadly for Mike. There would have been there was a lot of flops that could have really driven some action, but not so lucky. Here here we are in the last 7 minutes or so of the stream.
I figure we got 2 hands left.
Most likely about that. Denny is, though the button's on Basil, or is it on Denny?
Ramsey, thank you for watching.
How many viewers do we have right now, Chris?
How many what?
Viewers.
Let me see. 15, 16, about 18.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And I believe it's Basil on the button. It's hard to tell. It says it's on Denny. I think Chris himself is had a bit of a scowl on his face there, trying to figure out how the button got there. It's kind of just.
I think it is Basil's button.
Yeah, it's in that no man's land.
Because I always
between-
slide mine to the left like that too.
Yep. Give the dealer a little bit of room
Yeah.
to pitch at you.
That was funny too. And during the series, Yvonne was dealing, and I always slide it to the right. She put it right back in the center. We did this for I don't know about 10 hands in a row. I just kept sliding it to the right. And she just laughed at it. As she got up to leave, switch dealers, she put it back in the middle.
Yvonne's funny. She's a great addition to the team.
Mhm.
Boy, is she eager to work, and that is lovely to have in a dealer. Whenever you can, I have 4 tables running right now. I've got 4 dealers. Can you please just come in and push? And she is there in a second.
Where'd she come from?
She's originally from Cuba, but then lived in Italy for a long
Italy.
time. And
Okay.
she actually told me she used to be she used to work for a cruise line. So
That's right.
she's been to all sorts of places.
A
She's been to-
well-traveled woman.
Absolutely, and it shows. She's very cultured, but also just very polite, very sweet.
Yeah.
And we got to talking. She says, I asked her, where should I go? Where should I go out of all the places you've been? She's, of course, said Italy's beautiful.
Mhm.
I was lucky enough to go to Italy on a school trip whenever I was in high school. And
Oh wow.
beautiful, beautiful country. And one thing that she does talk about is the food. And that's something, while I was out there, was just phenomenal. Everything, everywhere you go, it's homemade. It's made right in the restaurant. And
It's real Italian.
Yeah. And she says, one funny thing she was mentioning is that everything in America is spicy. That's what she said. Was everything is spicy. And she was eating a Domino's slice of pizza with ham and pineapple on it. No red pepper flakes, nothing like that. And she said, it's so spicy. I don't know. I think it's the...
You just made Sean Rice cringe. He's one of those that's against ham and pineapple,
Oh,
bacon
man.
and pineapple.
Look, as far as I go, there's room for every kind of topping you could probably
Well, he's
want.
kind of a weird feller because I like pineapple and Canadian bacon on more pizza every once in a while.
Bad. I don't think it's bad.
But there are folks that actually think that's those are fighting words. You
Of
just
course,
can't have,
of course. The dealer right here, that's his topping of choice. So he's ready to
Pineapple,
put the
Canadian bacon and pineapple is
Mhm.
his. Well, now you just ruined the pizza for me.
Yep,
There-
yeah, there you go. He's ready to put the gloves on with old Sean Rice. Right here, we've got 3 6s in people's hands and 1 6 on the board. All
And a
6s
6-5,
are out.
2 pair.
Absolutely. Oh, and he just got counterfeited. So
So 8-6 is the
eight
winner.
6 is now the lead. Is Denny going to continue? I mean, he was the initial better, and that's going to actually shoo both players away. Nice hand, Denny. He got counterfeited, but didn't start checking, thinking, oh, geez, didn't bang the table.
Well, I think we got time for one more hand.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I'm going to say thank you, everybody in the live stream. I'm going to go let the dealer know and the players know this will be our last hand. Thank you very much who's tuned in. Thank you, Chris Carter, for doing the commentary.
Thank you for coming and helping.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you around next time.
Oh, well, last hand of the night, and Keikoa wakes up with aces. Maybe we'll have somebody have a hand. Maybe. Frankie might call 20s. I've seen with King 10, he'll probably call here. Actually, we had 4 callers. My goodness. Keikoa's got the best club draw, and everybody missed the flop except for Robert has a flush draw also and made a pair of sevens. Wow. Denny's now open-ended. We go to heads up. Oh, if a club comes, it'll be dirty. Oh, two pair. Robert gets the check mark. Robert's fixing to crack aces. Check, check, and Robert takes down the pot. Well, folks, that's the last hand of the night. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been an interesting night. Like I say, there's been some really slow parts to it as far as just the way the cards came out, but I think these guys put on a good table. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you next Saturday night. Like I say, stay tuned to the Kojak's pages, just so that you can, the Facebook page, that sort of stuff, because they've got announcements coming out about the new schedules and things of that nature, and I think everybody's going to be nicely surprised. So anyway, from everybody here, thank you very much, and have a good night.